ambao umeridhika kutuita ili tutekeleze shughuli muhimu za kaunti na Jamhuri ya Kenya. Tunakuomba utunyunyizie baraka zako sisi tuliokutanika hapa na utujalie tuyatende na kufikiria mambo yote yatakayowasilishwa mbele yetu kwa njia ya haki na uaminifu, ili utukufu na sifa zako ziendelezwe, na ili kustawisha amani, ufanisi na heri ya kaunti hii yetu na wale ambao haja zao umezikabidhi mikononi mwetu. Amina. Order, honorable members, let's take our seats. Honorable Chelule, take your seat. Clerk, kindly confirm whether we have the quorum.
Honorable Speaker, we have the quorum.
Honorable members, welcome to today's sitting. Today, 28th day of May 2024, 2:30 p.m. sitting. We can have the prayers on the order of business.
Order number 1, administration of oath.
Next order.
Order number 2, communication from the chair.
Next order.
Order number 3, messages.
Next order.
Order number 4, petitions.
Next order.
Order number 5, papers.
Honorable Kevolwe.
Honorable
So
Speaker.
your mic was on. What is it?
No, I just wanted to seek a statement.
We are not yet on the statements part, Honorable Kevolwe.
But you mentioned me.
I saw your mic was on. You can take your seat. Next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion.
Next order.
Order number 7, statements.
Honorable Kevolwe, it is now your turn.
Honorable Speaker, I would like to seek statement from the Department of Agriculture concerning the exercise that has just concluded recently. Thank you.
Honorable Kevolwe, you know, you a ranking member in this house. Yes, proceed.
Yeah, thank you, Honorable Speaker. I think now I'm ready to present. So, Honorable Speaker, I'm requesting statement concerning the employment of agripreneurship for the National Agriculture Value Chain Development Project. Pursuant to Standing Order 45A 1, I stand to seek a statement from Chairperson, Agriculture and Cooperative Development. Honorable Speaker, from the onset, I wish to bring to the attention of the House that the county government of Nandi were interested and qualified candidates were asked to fill out an expression of interest via the link that is here, all honorable members know, provided, and that details for this application was on 22nd May 2024. Honorable Speaker, interview have since been conducted, and the list of those interviewed published, where those who were co-opted for Kiptuya Ward are only 2 people. Honorable Speaker, the names of the identified candidates do not come from Kiptuya Ward, contrary to the requirement of the advert. Honorable Speaker, if no administrative action is taken to halt the process of recruiting of agri-entrepreneur for the failing of comply with the value and principle of public service as stipulated under Article 23, 232 of the Constitution. In this light, the chairperson is to shed light on the following questions. What were the qualifications for the employment of agripreneurship, and whether the qualifications were adhered to? 2, that the list of all alleged employee agripreneurship is tabled before the House for deliberation and further action by the House through the Committee on Agriculture is taken. Honorable Speaker, I wish to bring to the attention of the House that the interview that was done in Kiptuya, it was supervised by my PA, it was supervised by the area chiefs, both from the three chiefs, assistant chiefs and chief, and it was also interviewed by the agriculture officer. And to my surprise, Mr. Speaker, those qualified interviewers were given the opportunity to continue with the process that was given by the chief officer. But surprisingly, Mr. Speaker, among those 7 slotted candidates, only 2 people have been selected from Kiptuya. So I wanted to bring to this attention, Honorable Speaker, that I want to know exactly what transpired, because I'm in dilemma. I don't know what to do even. I know people, they gave me this mandate, and if it all goes wrong, I have to represent them here, and this exercise is being done by the Agriculture Department that is within our jurisdiction. So thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Do we have the chairperson, the Sectoral Committee on Agriculture and Cooperative Development, Honorable Arusei? In his absence, the Vice Chairperson. Well, any member from the Agriculture Committee? Honorable Chelule, how long will you take Now that you're holding brief for the chairperson to respond to the statement sought by the honorable member from Kiptuya.
Mr. Speaker, 1 week from now.
Honorable Chelule, you know how urgent the matter is.
Yes.
And is it possible that you can respond to it within 4 days?
Well, in the next sitting of this House.
So the honorable member from Songo Soba holding brief for the chairperson Committee on Agriculture. You have 4 days to make a response to the statement sought by the honorable member from Kiptuya. Honorable Isaiah Maina.
Nashukuru Bwana Spika, nimesimama kuulizia kuhusu maswali mengi tu ambayo tumewahi kuuliza, nadhani mengine yao pengine hata yamezidi mwaka mzima. Kuna wakati ambapo Bwana Spika ulituletea orodha ndefu na ukasisitiza kwamba umeagiza kwamba yale mambo yafululizwe, yafuatiliwe na yaletwe kwenye jumba hili ili tuweze kuyazungumzia. Nadhani kwamba maswali mengi tu ambayo pengine Bwana Spika kama yangekuwa yamejibiwa tayari atungekuwa na maswali kadha wa kadha ambayo yanakuja kututatiza. So naomba Bwana Spika pengine utoe tena agizo tena ili tuweze kupata majibu ya maswali mengi ambayo nadhani Spika tayari unayajua na anajielekeza kwa mambo mengi tu serikalini. Nashukuru Bwana Spika.
The honorable member from Olesos, that is noted, and in the course of today's proceedings, I'll be able to address myself on that particular issue. Any other statement? Next order.
Order number 8, motion.
The honorable member from Nandi Hills.
Okay, thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. Honorable Speaker, I rise to move a motion on the second report. I rise to move a motion, Honorable Speaker, that this House adopt the second report on the Committee on Education and Vocation Training on the status of the new vocation training centers laid on the table of the House on 16 May 2024. Honorable Speaker, the Sectoral Committee on Education and Vocation Training was constituted on 18 October 2022 during the first session of the Third Assembly pursuant to provision of Standing Order 194-1. The committee execute its mandate in accordance with the provision of the Standing Order 194-5, from which it draws its mandate to A. Investigate, inquire into, and report on all matters relating to the mandate, management, activities, administration, operation, and estimates of the assigned department. Honorable Speaker, Standing Order 194-5 provide for the function of the sectoral committee, which are investigate, inquire into, and report all matters relating to the mandate, management, activities, administration, operation, and estimate of the assigned department. 2, Honorable Speaker, to study and review all council legislation referred to it. 3, Honorable Speaker, to study the programs and policy objective of the department on the effectiveness of the implementation. 4, Honorable Speaker, to investigate and inquire into all matters relating to the assigned department as they may deem necessary as may refer to them by the County Assembly. Honorable Speaker, also to mark the report and recommendation to the County Assembly to Assembly as often as possible, including recommendation of proposed legislation. Further, the second schedule for the standing order state the committee's mandate as to consider all matters related to 1. Pre-primary education, 2. Youth polytechnics, 3. Home craft centers, 4. Child care facilities, and all matters related to technical and vocational education, vocation education and training. Honorable Speaker, the committee membership of education comprised of the following: Honorable Edwin Kiprop, I being the chair; Honorable Davis Bor, vice chair; Honorable Yitzhak Mosbey, who is a member; Honorable Edwin Korir, who is also a member; Honorable Eliud K. Kirongo, who is also a member; Honorable Lydia Chepto; Honorable Ezra Kipchirchir Rotich; Honorable Stancy Chepkemboi; Honorable Sarah Rupeti. Honorable Speaker, the committee has held several sittings, with its initial one being on 18 October 2023, where monitoring and evaluation was scheduled. Monitoring and evaluation schedule was adopted for visitation of recently commissioned VTC centers. The visits commenced on Friday, 22nd September 2023, and was completed on Friday, 16 February 2023. Honorable Speaker, the committee visited this VTC on 18 September 2023, where monitoring made the following observation. Observation on Kiropket VTC. Honorable Speaker, observation made on Kiropket VTC was: 1. Landscaping was not done with its institution. 2. There was evidence of poor workmanship in construction of classroom floors. 3. There is no connection to water to this facility, hence extremely hygienic. 4. There is no connectivity to electricity. 5. The institution has no instructors employed by county government and one volunteer. 6. Last but not least, Honorable Speaker, the facility does not have training materials, such as there is a long list of learners waiting for the facility to be equipped so they can enroll. Honorable Speaker, the committee recommendation of Kiropket VTC, Honorable Speaker, is that due to the poor hygiene condition at this institution that has been occasioned by water scarcity, action should be taken urgently to supply water, or otherwise the institution will be closed down until such is achieved. 2. Honorable Speaker, that the classroom to be renovated before reopening. 3. Honorable Speaker, that the institution to be supplied with equipment to allow effective learning. Honorable Speaker, that the institution needs fencing. The institution needs to be fenced, Honorable Speaker. Number 5 is that the workshop needs to be equipped during this financial year, this financial year, Honorable Speaker. That was of the Kiropket, the committee finding and observation of the Kiropket VTC. Honorable Speaker, we are moving to the second VTC, and that is Kabore. The committee made the following observation during our meeting to Kabore VTC. The institution has 1 instructor employed by the county government. 2, facility has no connectivity to water and electricity. 3, that there is no demarcation of this facility, hence a lot of community enroachment to the institution. 4, the facility lacks sufficient training equipment. Honorable Speaker, the committee recommendation concerning the Kabore VTC, Honorable Speaker, the committee recommends that the facility needs to be well equipped. 2, that the institution should be reconnected with water. 3, Honorable Speaker, that the institution to be reconnected with electricity. 4, Honorable Speaker, that the institution to be staffed to allow effective learning. Honorable Speaker. The third VTC, Honorable Speaker, is Kipsebwa FTC. Honorable Speaker, the committee made a visit to the above institution and was facilitated by the County Assembly. The following observations were made on that day. One, Honorable Speaker, concerning the observation of the committee is that this institution sits in a squeezed piece of land. In a squeezed piece of land, 2 classrooms were constructed, but there is no workshop. Honorable Speaker, aware that the learners should be provided with a workshop so that they can practice their courses they are undertaking at the various FTC, Honorable Speaker. Thirdly is that the institution has no connectivity with electricity. Honorable Speaker, here as the committee recommendation concerning Kipsebwa FTC, the committee makes the following recommendation. 1, that the department to assist with expediting title process, ensure that the department assist them in ensuring that the FTC should be assisted with their own expediting their title process. 2, Honorable Speaker, that the department to consider clearing tea bushes to make space for use by the vocation centers. Honorable Speaker, we are moving to the next FTC, and that is Kaliet FTC. Kaliet FTC. The committee made the following observation during the said visit. The FTC was commissioned on 17 May 2023. Since then, most of them have dropped out due to lack of school fees. There is also the category of orphans who have completed unable to pay any of the fees. The manager informed the committee that the bursary disbursement have been helpful in the settling the necessities. 2, Honorable Speaker, the manager also brought to the light that there is only one trainer herself who is employed by the county government. This has been a great challenge since the institution was commissioned to overcome comment making, driving, as well as masonry. She also mentioned that sometimes in 2023, when she was going from maternity leave, the institution was forced to close temporarily for lack of instructors. As such as this institution is in dire need of instructors, there is also one volunteer instructor. 3, Honorable Speaker, this institution has 2 classrooms. There is need to construct a workshop for the learners to use in practical the workshop, Honorable Speaker. The 4th one is that the driving course is offered in collaboration with Captel VTC, who is the mentor of this institution. 4, Honorable Speaker, the institution has limited funds for development. In 2023, they received a total of 200,000 from the county government. Last but not least, Honorable Speaker, the institution does not have electricity connectivity. Honorable Speaker, here at before we go to the recommendation, we still have one committee finding in the said institution. The 2 mentioned that during commissioning, the CC in charge of education had promised the instructors should be employed in financial year 2023-2024. There are learners who enroll for computer classes, but this far it has not started since there are no computer in the facility. The committee recommendation, Honorable Speaker, is that the department should recruit the recruitment of instructors be expedited. The construction of workshop should be made priority. That the capitation should be dispersed as per learners' enrollment. That institution to be connected with electricity. That the facility to be supplied with computers. Honorable Speaker, we are now moving to the next FTC, and that is Koibem Vocation Training Center. The committee made the following observation during our visit to Koibem FTC, Honorable Speaker, and I'm sure that the said FTC are here at the committee observation. The committee observation during the visit to Koibem. Enrollment of learners in this institution is currently at 82. Courses offered are the masonry, garment making, and hairdressing. 3, the institution was commissioned on 17 May 2023 and was planned to be mentored by Sirwayala through this Sirwayala, though this was not successful. The institution, as the center manager being an employee of county government with assistance of 3 volunteers. The next observation is that the FTZ has no connectivity of electricity. The institution has been able to set up water tank to collect rainwater. The institution has been able to the church also sponsored construction of a kitchen which is currently being used. The kitchen used at Koibem was constructed by the church. The last but not least is that the registration of the institution is yet to be completed. The committee recommendation about the Koibem FTZ, Honorable Speaker, is that the county secretary to begin employment of instructors as a matter of urgency. 2, the capacity building for instructors to be prioritized to improve services. That the CCM in charge of education to supply more classroom furniture owing to high number of enrollment. 3 is that the construction of workshop is prioritized by the department. 4 is that the institution is supplied with workshop equipment. Last but not least, Honorable Speaker, is that the institution is connected to electricity grid. Conclusion, Honorable Speaker, conclusion. The committee is grateful to opening of the new vocation training centers, as these provide an avenue to increase as well as equal opportunity for our residents to get much needed job skills. However, it is in position of the committee that more preparation of planning ought to have been done by the executive department. Nevertheless, the train has left the station, and therefore the CCM in charge of education department as well as the county secretary should act promptly to solve the challenges faced by this institution. The institution cannot be running without water, and similarly, we cannot have learners without instructors. It is therefore the committee firm believe that the recommendations stated above are taken with the seriousness it deserves, and that action should be taken. This committee proposed that the committee on implementation will be following up on implementation of this recommendation after 4 weeks of the adoption of this report. Honorable Speaker, allow me now to call upon Davis, my vice chair, so that he can second.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
What is it, the honorable member from Songo Soba?
Point of order, Mr. Speaker. The Honorable Chair for Education has gone through the status of various VTCs in the county. Jean Marie Seroney VTC Center in my ward has not been captured in his report.
I hear you, the honorable member from Songo Soba. As of now, I've not even proposed the question. Probably you can submit that once I have proposed.
Yes.
Honorable members, I'll therefore proceed to propose the question that this House adopt the second report of Committee on Education and Vocational Training Committee on the status of new vocational training centers laid on the table of the House on 16th May 2024. Honorable members, the debate is now on. You can deliberate on the said report.
Honorable Speaker, can the honorable member just share the copy so we have the report before we can contribute? Thank you.
Honorable member from Kabwareng, I'm a strong believer that the said report was shared in our county assembly website. Immediately it was tabled on 16th May.
Honorable Speaker, maybe if you can allow the IT to just come show us where that website is so we can be going there to get the reports.
Well, what I say?
Honorable Speaker, because maybe I'm IT challenged, maybe they can show us how to get to this report so that every time we don't keep asking for the reports, so that it's posted and we can discuss and have a genuine report, a genuine debate on matters that pertain to our plenary. Thank you.
Honorable member from Kapsabet.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me this chance to contribute to the adoption of this report. First and
I
foremost,
thought you are also raising issues on
No,
whether the report is available or not.
as the report has been read, and me personally, I was there when the committee made the visit, so I can contribute even without the report. Because what has
Point
been
of
read...
order, Honorable Speaker.
What is it, Honorable Hassan Majani?
Can Honorable Member now suggest that this report is only for the committee member of for the committee members of education only, so that they can contribute by themselves? Thank you.
Honorable Speaker, I have not said the report is made for the committee.
Honorable Matata, you can hold on. Honorable members, honorable chairperson, honorable member from Nandi Hills. I know that this report was tabled on the floor of this house on 16th. And I'm reliably informed that copies were also shared to the honorable members. And honorable member from Kabwareng, you indicate that you're not an IT expert, when I'm very much aware that you're one of the honorable members who has been pulling documents from the website. And today you're saying that you are unable to access that. That notwithstanding, I think the said report should be shared in social platforms other than the one that was shared in our website. Honorable member from Tarbay.
Point of information, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, please. You wish to inform the House or Honorable Hassan?
Honorable Hassan, Mr. Speaker.
I don't know, Honorable Hassan, are you willing to be informed by the Honorable member from Nandi?
Honorable Speaker, because he's a senior ranking member, let him inform me so I'm aware. I want to learn about, I want to hear this.
Honorable Tarbay.
Mr. Speaker, I understand there was interference with the cables in the seat transmitting the internet, Mr. Speaker. That could be the challenge. That's why the honorable member is not accessing, Mr. Speaker. Otherwise, it can be clarified, Mr. Speaker, because of late we have been told the Wi-Fi in the assembly has been having some challenges. So maybe the ICT people could look into the issue of the member, because he has always been accessing, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Hassan, I believe you're now well informed, but that notwithstanding, I think the said copy will be shared and you can have copies. As regard your point of order that you raised, Honorable Matata, can you be able to substantiate that?
Mr. Speaker, sir, I didn't say the report belongs to the committee. I think I'm clear in my conscience, and I didn't mention anything to do with the committee. So I don't know whether the member from Kabwareng can ask for more clarification. I was contributing to the report.
Honorable Hassan, you've heard from the member himself that he's not mentioned anything to do with the committee owning the report. If I heard him submit, he said that he was personally present when the members of the committee visited the facility. Do you have something to say, Honorable Hassan?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I'm realizing that in the House, we have members who require hard copies or digital copies so that they can be able to contribute, and others just listen and they're able to grasp it in their head and they can contribute. So we are in a house of laws and procedures, so I need to just catch up with the House. Thank you for the opportunity, Honorable Speaker.
Okay, noted. Honorable Matata Benjamin.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. First and foremost, I want to thank you for giving me this opportunity. Secondly, I want to thank the Committee on Education, Mr. Speaker, because when they visited the Kiropket PTC, Mr. Speaker, I was privileged to accompany the team because Kiropket PTC is just 500 away from my home. And I want to thank them because what they have actually presented here, Mr. Speaker, is actually, they have actually given the real picture on what is on the ground, Mr. Speaker, sir. They've talked about the facility not connected to electricity. They've talked about some landscaping. They've talked about the hygiene status of the facility. They've talked about some renovation works that needs to be done. And only, Mr. Speaker, what maybe I missed to hear, Mr. Speaker, is about the instructors. We only have one instructor employed by the county government and some volunteers there, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, sir, I'm happy to report to this House that from the visit that the committee made, we already have some slight changes in the facility, Mr. Speaker, sir. That the landscaping has been done, and through the initiatives, we have also in the supplementary budget that we approved recently in this House, we have some amount that has been allocated for renovation works, Mr. Speaker. So the committee did a good job because out of that visit, Mr. Speaker, I can see some slight changes in the facility, Mr. Speaker, sir. So what I need just to request is that the chairman of education, in conjunction with the chairman implementation, to make sure that they follow up on the report so that all the recommendations that the committee has made are implemented, Mr. Speaker, sir. Otherwise, I support because the report is actually painting the real picture on the ground, and that is good. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
You can see the honorable member from Kaptumo Kaboi, Isaac Bay.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Being a member of this committee, when we visited the various centers, we realized that there is a lot to be done. And Mr. Speaker, my suggestion would be, we have all those recommendations that we are forwarding, especially to the implementation committee, so that they can see to it that they are implemented. I just want to urge, particularly the honorable members from, or rather where we visited their VTCs, to try as much as possible to be visiting there. Let the community also from which the VTCs are understand the role of the area MCA, because when we visited there, most of the committees, particularly the members of the society, they were telling us to bring us this, I mean, they see us more or less like the department itself of education, while we are the committee that oversights. It is the state, Mr. Speaker, of the VTCs is sorry, like the report has painted. Because of limitation of time, I saw when our chairman tabled the report, the honorable member from Songosoba Ward was quick to rise. I just want to ask him to cool down because of time, we were unable to visit all the VTC facilities. And we were targeting, Honorable Speaker, we were targeting the new VTCs. And time will come, Mr. Speaker, through our able chairman, that we shall visit each and every VTC that we've not visited. And I believe we will table a report. But I just want to urge members, because some of the challenges that we saw there apply across more or less all the VTC centers across the county. So my appeal, because I come from this committee, is that let us support this report the way it is, so that we move to the next step to ensure that the report, or rather the proposals, are implemented. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Isaiah Maina, thereafter the honorable member from Songosoba.
Asante Bwana Speaker, ningependa nianzie kwa kushukuru kamati hii kwa kufanya kazi nzuri na kutupea picha jinsi ilivyo. Ninadhania kwamba vile imesemekana na vile mwenyekiti ameweza kutuelekeza, Bwana Speaker, VTC zetu ama vyuo hivi, nadhani kuna vile serikali yetu haijatilia mkazo sana. Ingawaje ningependa kwanza kwa kushukuru, kwa sababu katika chuo chetu cha Lesos ambacho kinaitwa Sikilai, kuna serikali imejaribu, na hivi majuzi wametuma watu pale waweze kuanzisha ujenzi wa maofisi mapya. Ingawaje sidhani kama kiwango cha fedha kilichotengwa ni cha kutoshelesha, lakini hata hivyo ninaona kama ni vizuri kwa sababu wameanza hivyo. Lakini wakati tumekuwa tukitembea hapo, ningependa kusema hivi, aswa kwa kamati, ukiangalia vizuri, kuna maelekezo ama kuna mapendekezo ambayo mumeweza kuyaorodhesha hapo, na mkasema kwamba mambo fulani mengi tu yanafaa kufanywa. Na nimefurahi pia kusikia kwamba imesemekana iende kwenye kamati nyingine. Lakini Bwana Speaker, inafaa kwanza waelewe kwamba kamati yenyewe, kamati husika, haiwezi kuacha kazi yake na ikafikiria kwamba itaanza kupea kamati nyingine. Kamati husika lazima iendelee kuangalia kazi yake kila wakati. Kila wakati. Hata mimi siko nimeona hii report, Bwana Speaker, kwa hivyo sijui hii report yenyewe inaongelea muda gani. Sijui kama ilikuwa ni miezi kadhaa iliyopita ama ni ya hivi majuzi. Lakini kuna vidokezo hapo Bwana Spika ambayo ama mapendekezo ambayo yanahitaji fedha chungu nzima. Inaweza kuhitaji hata watu kuajiriwa, walimu. Jinsi vile mnajua waheshimiwa, ni kwamba serikali yetu tayari imesemekana kwamba wafanyakazi wamejaa. Kiwango cha fedha kinachotumiwa kulipa marupurupu tayari iko juu. So wakati tunapoangalia vidokezo ama mapendekezo ni mazuri kabisa Bwana Spika, ni mazuri ajabu, kwa sababu vyuo hivi vinaweza kusaidia watoto wetu, haswa wale wa chini. Na tunaelewa kwamba yale yanayohitajika kwa sasa ni watu wapate ujuzi, watoto wapate ujuzi. So ningependa hivi nikisisitiza kwamba wakati tunapotoa mapendekezo ingekuwa vyema kama tungeweka pia bajeti ambayo itahitajika. Ningependa kama kamati hii baada ya kutembea hivyo wangeketi pamoja na hiyo idara ambayo husika, kisha wakatuandikia kwamba kufanya maneno haya yote, kuweka maji, kuwekeza stima na mambo mengine tu, yatagharimu shilingi ngapi. So kwa sasa pengine tunaambia serikali fanyeni. Swali ni je, kama nyumba ambayo huwa inatenga pesa na kupeana ruhusa, tumeweka pesa pia ambayo serikali itatumia kufanya kazi hiyo, ili baada ya vile mwenyekiti amesema baada ya wiki 4, na jinsi nijuavyo Bwana Spika, wiki 4 ni njia nyingine ya kusema mwezi mmoja. Mwezi mmoja hapa inamaanisha kwamba pengine ni kabla ya mwisho wa mwezi ujao. Mwezi ujao kuna uwezekano mkubwa sana kwamba tutakuwa tunafunga mwaka wa fedha wa 22, 23, 24. Ili tuende kwenye 24, 25. Bwana Spika. So wakati tunapopitisha na kusema kwamba tumeambia serikali fanyeni, sasa watafanya na nini? Ama tumewatengea pesa ya kufanya, kisha baada ya wiki 4 pengine watakuja waseme kamati tekelezi, hebu fuateni. Wamejenga, wameweka maji, wameweka stima, lakini tuelewe kwamba tunahitaji fedha zaidi. So ninaamini Bwana Spika kwamba hii kazi ni nzuri kabisa vile wameanzisha kamati hii, na nimependa kwamba wametupea picha hiyo ambayo inafaa kutuamsha, kutugutusha, tukawa wenye kufikiri kwamba watoto wetu, haswa wale ambao tunapenda wapate masomo. Na nikifikiria pia Bwana Spika, kwa sababu mimi ni mwalimu hapo awali, nilikuwa mwalimu hapo awali, na nimetembea nikaangalia, nikajiuliza tu, hao watoto, je, ile curriculum yao ama wanafuata nini wakati wanaposoma? Sijaelewa vizuri Bwana Spika, kwa sababu na ningependa sana kama kamati ingetujulisha, kwa sababu ukifika pale unakuta kwamba magari kuu yale ambayo pengine ni ya miaka zilizopita, hiyo ndio unakuta wanafunzi wamezunguka hapo, sasa ati Bwana Spika wanajifunza kutengeneza gari yenyewe hiyo ambayo inatumika kufunza haitengezwi tena. Sio gari ya kisasa. Sasa Bwana Spika, watoto wetu wanasoma historia ama wanasoma mambo ya sasa na yajaye? So ningependa kamati hii ijishughulishe hapo sana sana. Watoto wale wanafunzwa nini? Ukiangalia maabara, Bwana Spika, aswa yale mambo ambayo yanaendelea pale, ukiangalia wale ambao wanaitwa wenye kusimamia, ningependa tujue kiwango chao cha elimu kimewekewa pande kiasi gani, hao wenye kusimamia vyuo hivi, ili tuweze kuwa na hakika kwamba watoto ambao tunawaandaa pale wanaweza kwenda kushinda dunia. Kumbuka kwamba Bwana Spika, serikali yetu imekuwa ikishughulisha sana na jambo la kutafuta ajira hata katika nchi za nje. Na itakuwa ni vema Bwana Spika, ikiwa hawa watoto wakitoka pale wawe ni wenye ambao wameandaliwa vizuri na wanaweza kufanya kazi katika sehemu yoyote ya dunia. Kwa hivyo ningependa kushukuru Bwana Spika na niambie kamati asante sana, hongera kwa kutoa ripoti kama hii, lakini ningependa iendelezwe zaidi. Isemekane kwamba ili kufanya vyuo hivi viwe vyenye kufana, vyenye kupendeza. Hata nimeshangaa Bwana Spika nikisikia mheshimiwa kutoka Kapsabet akisema kwamba tayari kuna kazi ya kurekebisha mahali ilianza. So na nikawa najiuliza ilianza vipi? Walikuwa wamekalia pesa ili wakati hii kamati ilienda wakaanza mara moja, ama iliendaje? So haya ni maneno ambayo ningependa tuatilie mkazo, na niseme asante sana kamati, muendeleze hata kabla sisi mimi kama mwenyekiti wa hiyo kamati ya kutekeleza, kabla niingie hapo na niwajulishe Bwana Spika, kwa sababu imesemekana mara kadhaa, niwajulishe kazi ya hii kamati vizuri. Sisi tunatilia mkazo sana wakati nyumba ikiamua kwamba kazi ianze tarehe fulani, tunaangalia ilianza tarehe fulani, ikuanza, imalizwe tarehe fulani, ilimalizwa, ikumalizwa, bajeti fulani ilitumika, hiyo ikutumika. Lakini katika ile hali ya kuchunguza ndani na kujua ni kwa nini pengine kulikuwa na utepetevu ama kutofanya kazi, itakuwa imebaki kwenye kamati yenyewe ambayo inahusika. Kwa hivyo ningependa kuambia kamati husika, usiache kazi yako ukifikiria ati mimi nitakuja kukufanyia. Si wewe, lazima ufanye kazi yako ya kamati husika. Asante Bwana Speaker.
The honorable member from Songo Soba, your mic was on and given you an opportunity.
Mr. Speaker, while I support the recommendations the committee has given for those institutions, I surely lament why that institution, which I mentioned as Jean-Marie Seroney VTC Center, which is a new institution. It was built even before I came to this house. It was already there by the county government. And it is not operating now. And it is my lamentation that the committee did not visit that institution and make recommendations for its operationalizations, just like as it has done for this. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. That's all.
Honorable member from Terik.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, for giving me this chance to contribute. Let me applaud the Committee of Education for having done some good work about the vocational training college within our wards. As I support the report, I think the Committee of Education have highlighted well. The only challenge that we have is about the instructors, and they have highlighted well. But I have, before I contribute on their report, Mr. Speaker, sir, I hail from I represent the member of Terik Ward, people of Terik. And I think during the financial year of the newly opened facilities, mine for Terik was also within the list. But I tried to follow up, but I found the allocations of buying land went missing. As I deliberate on this, I will still go back with the committee and the Department of Education. I have tried for new allocations, but all this is not yet. Mr. Speaker, sir, as I contribute, we find out the workshops within our facilities are not fully equipped. The instructors...
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
What, Honorable Isaac?
The honorable member from Terik is misleading the House. We are talking of VTCs, Vocational Training Centers, not VCTs, as is continuously. I've listened to him 3 times saying VCTs, Vocational Training Centers, Mr. Speaker.
The honorable member from Terik, you've had...
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
And also want to confirm that I heard you say vocational training colleges. So you can rectify the record.
Yes, Mr. Speaker. Vocational training centers, as I correct. So one for my ward was among these ones that are being celebrated in the House at the moment. And I was also making my point that the one for Terik is missing because it was budgeted 5 million for purchase of land. 3 million was to be allocated for purchase of land. 2 million was for construction. But way out, due to some circumstances I could not explain because I was not the member of county assembly at that moment. I have followed, but I have managed to secure 3 million, which will go to purchase of land within the center of my ward, which is Kapsangere. And I will be tasking out the Committee of Education plus the executive team.
Point of order, Honorable Speaker.
Under what standing order, the honorable member from Olesos?
Under the standing order number 90, I wish that the honorable member clarifies what he means by securing 3 million and where did he secure it?
The honorable member from Terik.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I think as I represent the people of Terik, within the supplement that we have, there are allocations for 3 million of purchase of land. But previously, as per the history of this House, there were 5 million allocated for my ward. And as I talk, the 3 million will go for purchase of land, as I report, representing the people of Terik. I think the member is informed.
The honorable member is asking the term securing. Are you using it interchangeably with budgeting?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, sir.
So you're done? I think that is clarified.
I think the member is informed because the whole amount was completely out of budget. But currently, it has been reallocated to my ward. and I think the member is informed as I represent the people of Terik. As I go back to the contribution, Mr. Speaker, sir, for the vocational training centers, I applaud the Committee of Education because most of the vocational training centers lack good classrooms. Secondly, also, and they have highlighted as well, most of the centers have volunteers who support the students who are going there. And we find out that during the bursary, we have allocated some percentage to support the students going there. And as we have allocated the percentage to support the students, within my ward, I had allocated around 500,000 to support the students going to vocational training centers so that they can be equipped with the skills that can assist them to get some small and support that can earn by practicing what they have learned. So I support the committee for the good work they have done and the way they have tabled and brought the report the way it is. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
I think Honorable Hassan had given Honorable Hassan an opportunity. Thereafter, we can have Honorable Tarbey. And honorable members, we have a number of motions in our order paper today, and I'll urge us to Honorable Hassan.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me an opportunity to contribute. Allow me to thank the well-trained IT team of the House for the good job they have done. I can now access my the documents. Thank you very much, Clerk, and thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, this was a great and noble cause that the Committee on Education embarked on visiting the vocational trainings, especially at a time when the national government was thinking of bringing the NYS trainees to come do their trainings on the vocational training centers. Honorable Speaker, I'm like Honorable Chelule from Songo Soba Ward. I have a vocational training in Kabwareng Ward, which I really would hope, because of time, they could have visited Seremi Vocational Training Center. It's an old training center. It started way back in 1984. As of right now, they do not have a functioning workshop. They had a contractor that was starting to build it back in 2018, and up to now, the building has not even reached the windows. They have a lot of challenges that I would wish the committee would have visited, even though a member of the committee has said because of constraint of time, they could not visit the training place. Issues of lack of teachers, issues of lack of training materials, issues of infrastructure is well vast. I think in every ward that has a vocational training center, we can all speak through it. And we hope that this report, as Honorable from Lesos had said, would actually go deep on how well and the funding that can go into it so that we don't just say manage or manage yourself well so you can do it. I have a vocational training called Kaptwai Vocational Training Center. This was a disabled training center that shut down, Honorable Speaker. It went down because of no teachers. So the place has 2 buildings, 2 offices, and a workshop. And they have sewing machines that have just been stuck there since 2013 when it was shut down. And it was helping the disabled community. This would really, and I've tried to seek help from the educational department on how they can revive this vocational training, because it's a disabled vocational training. It has the buildings, it has the equipment, it doesn't have the teachers. So I heard the chair for education saying expedition of hiring of teachers for vocational training centers, which I support. We just hope that what Honorable Shangu about the budgeting process can actually kick in so that this process can be seamlessly going through. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for the contribution, and thank you very much for the committee for a good job, well done. But again, we need to take a step further on seeing how we fund the vocational training, because this is where even the Trajiri program that the county has, they take the students to the vocational trainings which have no teachers and have no workshop. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Tarbay, thereafter the Majority Whip.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to oppose the adoption of this report, Mr. Speaker, because in as much as, Mr. Speaker, the committee have done a good job, Mr. Speaker, some of the recommendations in this report, Mr. Speaker, may not go well with me because if you see in the recommendation, Mr. Speaker, they have done a good job in coming up with the report, but some of the recommendations, Mr. Speaker, are deviating from, unless I'll be guided, Mr. Speaker, because, for example, a recommendation for COIPEM, I think there are two recommendations. That's for COIPEM and GIROPKET, Mr. Speaker. That is in page 8. No. Yeah, Mr. Speaker, page 8. If you see recommendation number 1, they have said that the country secretary begin employment of instructors as a matter of urgency, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, in as much as my concern serves me clearly, Mr. Speaker, the county government, the only body that is given power to employ and recruit, Mr. Speaker, is the county public service board. And Mr. Speaker, we have an issue of wage bill in this county. So if we give power to the county secretary, Mr. Speaker, to start employing people, Mr. Speaker, I don't know what will happen in that scenario, Mr. Speaker. So unless that section is amended, that the county public service board begin employment, Mr. Speaker, I see a disaster, Mr. Speaker, because giving powers to the county secretary to employ, and the same has been repeated in recommendation for GIROPKET also, Mr. Speaker, they have tasked the county secretary to do the employment. So in as much as the other recommendations are good, Mr. Speaker, I find a challenge in that recommendation where we are giving powers to the county secretary, Mr. Speaker, to employ the instructor. And that's why that makes this report null and void, Mr. Speaker, because we have a lot of issues in the county in as much as employment is concerned. So I don't know, maybe the committee arrived at this report because we have a dysfunctional county public service board in our county at the moment. But, Mr. Speaker, two wrongs does not make a right, Mr. Speaker. So I rise to object this report.
Point of information, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Tarbay.
No, Mr. Speaker. The member is my junior, Mr. Speaker. I'm the most ranking member, and I don't need the information, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, I'm well informed.
You are well informed, huh? Well,
information, Honorable Speaker.
Whom do you want to inform, Honorable
Honorable Tarbay.
Honorable Tarbay, do you want to be informed? Now
Since he's a more ranking member than me, Mr. Speaker, I allow the information.
Honorable Sang.
Maybe as I want to inform him, he talked about the county secretary being employing. The county secretary is not employing body, but only giving the assessment of the need of that department. But the employment, those who are employing the employees of this county is the county assembly service board. But the county secretary is only to give the need.
Honorable Sang, I'm afraid that there's a point of order that will be raised. You say that, is it the county assembly service board? Or
Sorry, Honorable Speaker. It is like county assembly service board for home executive. That is the county public service board. It is not the county assembly service board. It is the county public service board that has been done in from the executive. But the who employs is the public service board. But the secretary is to identify the need of having the instructors in particular. Maybe that was an error, Honorable Speaker, from the committee, but the employing authority is the county public service board. Maybe I think that is the information I need to you. And also, that facility, Honorable Speaker, COIPEM, as a facility, that is exactly the thing, because it has been, the facility is being managed by the Sirwayala. So the instructors are there in the COIPEM, vocational trainings comes from Sirwayala. And Sirwayala now is a disadvantage because the classroom there was not enough. That is why we win this COIPEM VCT, Honorable. And that one happens to come from my ward. Yeah, it is the VCT. Honorable Shango, I know you are
Honorable
coming.
Sang, is that part of the information that
Yeah.
you wanted to inform
You know, when you say about the VCT, it is not the VCT that the normal VCT, it is the VTC. Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Talbey, are you now well informed?
No, I reject the information, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, if you read the recommendation number 1 in page 8, it says that the county secretary to begin employment of instructors is a matter of urgency. So there is nowhere that the county public service board is being mentioned. Then, Mr. Speaker, we can see the urgency there. So if we pass, you know, this is a house of law, Mr. Speaker. The county secretary getting this report, I think it is a jackpot, Mr. Speaker, because you have been given powers to employ as a matter of urgency. So I wish they would have said through the county secretary, the public service board, or something, Mr. Speaker, it could be different. But, Mr. Speaker, giving express powers and indicating the
point of order,
agency, it's a
Mr.
disaster, Mr.
Under
Speaker.
what standing order, Honorable?
Accuracy of fact, Mr. Speaker. I realize that the honorable member is misreading. He's trying to misread the report to suit his own understanding. What we meant by saying the secretary to the county secretary to begin, in other words, to initiate the process of employment of the instructors. We are not saying he is going to just initiate the process. To begin means to initiate.
Honorable Mosbey, I have read that particular recommendation, and it says that the county secretary to begin employment. Is there anywhere in that particular sentence where you meant to initiate, submitted by yourself?
Mr. Speaker, so that I can put the record straight, when the beginning of an employment is when a particular department or a particular body asks for staff. So when we say to begin, the county secretary will write to the public service board asking for...
Point of order, Mr. Speaker. Point of order.
On point of order,
the
Mr.
honorable
Speaker.
member is rising on a point of order.
Now, Mr. Speaker, and you should also protect us junior members from the likes of Honorable Tarbey, who take advantage of their senior positions to refuse information, to also belittle the first timers, Mr. Speaker. So I seek your protection also, because...
Honorable Mosbe, you always protected, and I don't think whether the honorable member from Nandi has belittled just by way of refusing to be informed by yourself. You may proceed, please.
But he said that he cannot take information from a less ranking member. So isn't that belittling, Honorable Speaker? Otherwise, my point is made, Mr. Speaker, that he should not be allowed to mislead the House, that it is the county secretary that is employing. We've stated in the statement that, and I hope the chairman will mention in the right of reply, that the county secretary to initiate or to begin the process of employment of the trainers, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Member Mosbey, I'm afraid that I won't be able to rule the member from Nandi to be out of order. Honorable Tarbey, proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I respect the honorable member Mosbey because he's my member of County Assembly, Mr. Speaker, but the issue is not about to begin or to initiate, Mr. Speaker. My point of concern is that on that very recommendation, Mr. Speaker, we are giving express power to the county secretary to begin employment. We are not mentioning the county public service board anywhere, Mr. Speaker. So that was my point of condition. Otherwise, I don't have the issue with the report, Mr. Speaker. And you know, like we are misunderstanding, you know, the honorable member is telling us our intention as a committee was this. But Mr. Speaker, the intention is not reflecting in the report. So after submitting this report, you know, if this report is taken to the court, and the learned friends like Honorable Speaker is given opportunity, you know, this is a direct powers being given to the county secretary, Mr. Speaker, because nowhere is being nowhere is the county public service board being mentioned. So that's why I have an issue, Mr. Speaker. In as much as we want to pass this report, this is a recommendation. Well, had it been even on another part, Mr. Speaker, but it is a recommendation, and it is. I want to believe even the committee, when they were drafting the recommendations, they gave it in terms of priority. So this is recommendation number 1. We have 6 recommendations, and the first recommendation is giving express power to the county secretary. Being recommendation number 1, Mr. Speaker, it shows even the seriousness of the recommendation. It didn't even come last, Mr. Speaker. We could say it was just a matter of, but this is a direct recommendation, Mr. Speaker. So I object, Mr. Speaker.
The Honorable Member from Chemondo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity so that I can also contribute on this matter of VTCs. Mr. Speaker, I have just raised to see that Chemundu Kamngetuny, we do also have what we call Chemundu Integrated Vocational Training Center, just 7 kilometers away from this place, Mr. Speaker. But I'm shocked indeed, because the way Chairman has just put it, that they visited other VTCs, Mr. Speaker, they never bothered to visit that one. While we have 80 students, and that vocation was registered this December, Mr. Speaker, meaning that what they have just made some recommendation that these VTCs are new. I'm a bit worried, Mr. Speaker, because Chemundu could be also be included, and you see, Mr. Speaker, it's not there. So I really want to support that this be amended and Chemundu Integrated Vocational Center be included in this list, Mr. Speaker, because...
Point of information.
You want to inform the Honorable Member from Chemundu? Honorable Member, do you want to be informed by the able member from Kurgong?
I don't need it now, Mr. Speaker, because the Honorable Member is also in that committee, Mr. Speaker, but he didn't make an effort of visiting the same place. What should we be informed, Mr. Speaker? So in this, I stand to oppose this motion, Mr. Speaker, until the equality be done, because there is no way you can apply the law selectively. If it is a matter of visiting the place, Mr. Speaker, you visit all the VCT and give us the comprehensive report, Mr.
Point
Speaker.
of information, Mr. Speaker.
You also want to inform the...
I want to inform the House, Mr. Speaker.
Keter, you can only inform the Honorable Member from Chemundu. Honorable Member, do you take that? One of you must...
No, I don't need it, Mr. Speaker. I'm only interested with the chair, Mr. Speaker, and the whoever has just applied the law selectively, Mr. Speaker. Because I'm requesting, if they are using the word that polytechnics, the new vocational, Mr. Speaker, I don't understand why Chemundu, it's not one of these, Mr. Speaker. Which criteria have they used, Mr. Speaker?
Because the chairperson education has been mentioned, and we have the vice chairperson, Honorable Davis.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. The point raised by Honorable Whip, the information which you have as a committee is that it was due to time limitation, but we selected all the new VTCs, but due to time, we didn't manage to visit East vocational training center, but in due course, we are
Point
yet
of
to
order,
go there
Mr. Speaker.
because
Point of order, Mr.
the
Speaker.
report which we are having is
Honorable Member
concerning.
from Chemundu, I thought the Vice Chairperson was responding to the concerns that you raised. What is your point of order?
Accuracy of facts, Mr. Speaker.
Yes,
When
what about it?
when Vice Chair Education raised and say it was due to time limited, Mr. Speaker, who says that other people will be locked out on because of time? Which time? Who set those time, Mr. Speaker? Because that one, it has to come out clearly from the honorable member. Because you cannot be say and say 2 minutes or 3 minutes. Where was that regulation showing that due to time, Jemundu will be left out, Mr. Speaker?
The member from Koyondurio.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, because I was almost finishing my recommendation or the reason as to why we didn't visit Jemundu. And the area MCA is really Peter, but I've given him a chance that we shall be there soon. Give us time, because the recommendation which you are having here, we cannot include Jemundu, which you haven't stepped to that place. The recommendation which you are having here is concerning the 5 ETCs which we went as a committee. So we cannot lie to this house to give a picture of Jemundu, yet as a committee we haven't come to that place. So give us time to give the recommendation of the 50Cs at hand. Then when we'll be in Jemundu, we'll give a clear picture. Thank you.
Point of order, Honorable Speaker.
Under what standing order, Honorable Isaiah Minor?
Under standing order number 90, and pursuant to what the honorable member from Nandi indicated earlier on, I would wish that, Honorable Speaker, it could be clarified whether indeed this report is giving the said officer powers to start employment. And if that is the case, then, Honorable Speaker, could you guide this House as to whether indeed we can embark on an illegality or otherwise?
Honorable member from Olesos. You know, while rising on that particular point of order, honorable member from Koyondurio was submitting, and I want to believe that you want the honorable chair to rule on that particular issue based on what is submitted.
I wish that you, Honorable Speaker, rule on this question, because it's the what Honorable Tarbey presented to this House. He says that the report gives purportedly the county secretary powers, or it instructs him, if we adopt, to begin employing. And so some very serious questions of law begin to come in, Honorable Speaker, in the sense that, is it the role of the county secretary to initiate employment of any staff? If so, then it is okay. If it is not, then isn't this House going towards a treacherous path of passing something or asking something to somebody, an officer, to do something he cannot, which would amount to an illegality, Honorable Speaker? So that we can make justice, have justice on this report, I wish to request you, Honorable Speaker, to make a ruling on that. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
The Honorable Member from Olesos, I hear you, and I'll be able to deliver ruling in the due course. Honorable Member from Kapkangani.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to begin by supporting the report. Mr. Speaker, and I want to say the report actually is good. Mr. Speaker, based on the recommendation from what the committee is...
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
Under outstanding order, Honorable Keter.
Number 9.
You may remain seated, Honorable Kirongo.
Number 9, the accuracy of fact, Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
I have raised an issue over what criteria did they use, and the honorable member from Kapkangani, Mr. Speaker, is just saying the recommendation is it was good. Yet he has not clarified which criteria do they use to get 5, and yet we have more.
Honorable Member from Chemundu, I think that issue has already been settled by the Vice Chairperson when he indicated that they sampled the 5, and in the due course they'll visit the other VTCs. Was that not satisfactory?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. That is why I was asking this report be amended, Mr. Speaker, so that we can pass. But now if you say 3 samples.
Honorable, and I think even the member from Koyondurio addressed himself on the issues of amending the report. He indicated that it is not possible. It is not on their position to amend the report to the extent that they capture that they visited Chemundu when they did not. And I believe, honorable members, on issues of amendments, this is now a document of this particular county assembly, and each one of you is at liberty to propose the amendments, subject to the secondment and subject to the passage by this county assembly. Honorable Kirongo, could you proceed?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And of course, Mr. Speaker, I was not answering Honorable Julius Keter, whom actually he has opposed the report, Mr. Speaker. I wonder why he wanted again for amendment, yet he has opposed the report. Mr. Speaker, I want to inform this House that the process of the committee actually continues, because I give a clear example of even Sirwayala, VTC. The committee did not visit that place. But of course, Mr. Speaker, I know one of these fine days, Mr. Speaker, because we are at work, Mr. Speaker. So the report that we actually brought is for the few VTCs, Mr. Speaker. And I want to say the committee have done commendable job. So, Mr. Speaker, I really urge the committee that, the House, that let us pass this report. It is good. For those VTCs that we visited, Mr. Speaker, we bring out the good recommendations, Mr. Speaker. So for the members that the committee has not visited their places, Mr. Speaker, we have time. And we'll do so, Mr. Speaker, when times come. So, Mr. Speaker, I support the report. Thank you.
Have we exhausted deliberating and debating on this motion? Yes, Honorable Member from Sangalo.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. First and foremost, I want to applaud the work done by the Education Committee for visiting these vocational training centers. I do also have a privilege that one of these VTCs is in my ward. That's SEK Kaliesep Tonok, which is 1 year old. It was commissioned the said 2023 May. I've listened to the recommendation. Let me just go to recommendation that was given by this committee. We've heard that there are a number of recommendations. And Honorable Speaker, before then, I just want to say these VTCs will give our students skills, which in turn will give them job opportunities. Most of them will get self-employed jobs. Honorable Speaker, the fact is, we don't have enough instructors as recommended, which has hindered the education in this. Honorable Speaker, for example, the SEK Kaliesep Tonok, we have only one manager who also serves as instructor. At the same time, is doing a lot of work there. So, Honorable Speaker, I just want to urge the implementation committee to follow up this matter, to see into it that most of the things, including the workshops that has been identified as one of the factors that hinder most of these learners in their day-to-day education to be implemented. Honorable Speaker, in as much as we are saying this, most of the youths in all these wards suffer a lot. We have dropouts because of the financial status and bursaries and whatever. But Honorable Speaker, if this factor will be seen that it will help as the President himself of this Republic of Kenya is urging all the youth to at least use the VTCs in these regions. Let us support and say that let us have enough instructors, let us have enough courses in these VTCs. For example, in mine, the Kaliesep Tonok, we have most of the students who would like maybe to take electrical courses. Maybe there are those who want to take computer courses, driving. But at the end of it all, we still lack maybe electricity. We don't have even the computers. I want to urge this Honorable House, as we adopt this, let us consider that most of the VTCs do not have adequate tools of operation. So, Honorable Speaker, I just want to say that let us support this, and my support is with maybe to say that to support what Honorable Tarbe said, because we've seen that the employing body on these instructors is the Public Service Board. So let us see into it that so that we, as also rules, so that we cannot fall into something not good. So, Honorable Speaker, I just want to say, let us deliberate and assist the Education Committee on this. Otherwise, Honorable Speaker, I support. Thank you.
Honorable Member from Kurgong.
Honorable Speaker, allow me, Honorable Speaker, to move an amendment, Honorable Speaker. Pass one to Standing Order number 54-9 on this particular motion, Honorable Speaker, that on that particular section of recommendation, Honorable Speaker, that section be amended to read the following, that part written County Secretary, Honorable Speaker, to read Public Service Board. Honorable Speaker, it will read the following, that the Public Service Board to begin employment of instructors as a matter of urgency. I beg to move, Honorable Speaker. Allow me to request Honorable Lydia to second.
The Honorable Member from Kurgung, I know that you're well versed with the standing orders, and in particular that the amendments have to be in writing. You've not invoked the provisions of Standing Order 55-2 that notwithstanding or rather the Speaker in exceptional circumstances may allow a member to move an amendment to a motion before the County Assembly at any time during consideration of that motion. 55(1) provides that the proposer of an amendment to a motion shall, before moving it, hand the proposed amendment in writing signed by the proposer to the clerk at least 2 hours before the order is read.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker, on deferment of a motion, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Musbe, before that, I have to conclude on this other aspect. The honorable member from Kurgung, Surungai, I think on that I decline to allow your proposed amendment. Honorable Musbe.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to move a motion on deferment and ask Honorable Kirongo to second, Mr. Speaker.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Honorable Tarbe.
Mr. Speaker, is the honorable member in order to move the motion of adjournment when he had already spoken, Mr. Speaker? So it's like he's speaking to the motion twice, Mr. Speaker.
I note that. The honorable member from...
I did not move a motion of adjournment, Mr.
No,
Speaker.
that you've already spoken to that motion, and thereafter you moving a motion for adjournment. You out of order. See, your mic is on, Majority Leader.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, since this is a very important motion, Honorable Speaker, we request that you invoke the Standing Order 55-2 so that we can cure that issue, Honorable Speaker. Thank you.
Honorable Majority Leader, I hear you that you invite me to invoke the provisions of Standing Order 55-2. And Honorable Majority Leader, you've not moved any motion of amendment so that you can be able to cite that particular standing order. Because as regard the motion that had already been moved by the honorable member from Kurgung, I think that is disposed of.
Okay, Honorable Speaker, I'm well guided, and allow me now to move a motion of amendment on the motion that Honorable Speaker, under recommendation number 1, that the word County Secretary be deleted and replaced with Public Service Board to begin employment of instructors as a matter of urgency. Honorable Speaker, I call upon your indulgence so that you can invoke Standing Order number 55-2 on the same, and I call upon Honorable Silas Koko to second.
Honorable members, I will proceed to propose that the word County Secretary be deleted and replaced with the word Public Service Board to begin employment of instructions as a matter of urgency. Honorable Tarbey.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to support the motion of amendment as moved by the Leader of Majority. Mr. Speaker, to my knowledge, this doesn't affect the report in any way. It's just observing the powers which were almost being given to the County Secretary, Mr. Speaker, yet the powers belong to the Service Board. So I rise to support, and I want to congratulate Mr. Speaker, the mover, because it would have furnished a good report, Mr. Speaker. So with that amendment, I believe the report will be good, Mr. Speaker. I support. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Member from Olesos.
Honorable Speaker, I rise to oppose. The reason is that we cannot, the Service Board cannot be directed. And if we were to resolve in this house and say to the service board to begin that process urgently, that amounts to a direction. And in any case, Honorable Speaker, I wish to draw the attention of this House to Article 235 of the Constitution on the staffing of county governments.
Order, Mr. Speaker.
Under what standing order, the Honorable Member from Kobujoy?
Order number 90, Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, as said by Honorable Minor, that the committee is directing the public service. Actually, it's not that way. This is a recommendation from the committee, but not a directive to the public service. Thank you.
Honorable Member from Olesos, will you still maintain that that is an order, a direction?
Yeah, when this House makes a resolution, Honorable Speaker, because finally these recommendations, they were recommendations when they were being brought by the committee. But once we adopt them, then they become resolutions of the House. And if they are resolutions of the House, they have power of law. Otherwise, why would anybody act on anything that we say? We are the only body that is entitled to legislate, and this is part of it. And I wanted to draw the attention of this House to 235 on staffing of county governments. A clear reading of that indicates that the responsibility of staffing belongs to the county government. And the county government is defined further in Article 176 as being the county assembly and the county executive. If you look at Section 46 of the County Government Act, the County Executive Committee is the one responsible for structuring of the county government, including its departments. And then it further provides that the County Service Board acts on behalf of the county government. County government, again, honorable members, is made up of the county assembly and the county executive. So the board acts on the behalf of these two. And I wanted to ask you, I'd asked you, Honorable Speaker, to rule on whether indeed we were giving the county secretary any power he doesn't have. And how do you initiate an employment? That's the question. If today we thought we wanted instructors to be employed, first of all, Honorable Speaker, there is a problem, a serious problem with that, in the sense that we are just saying instructors. You have not talked about Chemundu, for instance. You have not talked about Lesos. Are we suggesting that all the VTCs do not have instructors? How many instructors?
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Honorable Tarbay.
Mr. Speaker, I think the honorable member for Lesos is contributing to the motion, yet he had contributed the same, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Tarbay, you seem to be out of order. I know this is a motion on amendment, and he's rightfully placed.
Yeah, you know, sometimes when you are ranking, you can forget, Honorable Speaker, you can forgive him. So, Honorable Speaker, I wish that this House, I know that it would be nice, and this report is important, it is timely. It should be adopted by this House, but in the right form and at the right time. If we were sure that to initiate employment, Honorable Speaker, maybe there is a requirement for needs assessment. How many instructors do we require? So maybe this resolution should have been something like that the county executive or the department in question undertakes a needs assessment for instructors so that it can bring to this house a report which says we require so many instructors and they will cost, these are the cost implications. And then this house would either be able to undertake what we would call a supplementary budget, or we can include it in the estimates that we are working on right now. And then after that, only after that, can you write to the Public Service Board, County Service Board, to say, do the employment, conduct the interviews. Other than that, Honorable Speaker, it would be wrong for us to say to the County Public Service Board to do any such a thing, because there is no needs assessment and we cannot instruct them on what they are required to do unless the County Executive Committee sits and comes up with a resolution like that. I stand guided, Honorable Speaker, but I wish for you to make a ruling on this question so that we can be able to proceed. But I want to highlight that this is an important report. It should be adopted, but the clarification should be there. How many instructors do we want to employ? What are the cadres? What is the qualification? What about the VTC that the Honorable Member from Jemundu talks about? Is it going to be captured? What about Sigilai from Olesos? Are we going to employ based on this report, or we would wait for the committee to go fast and get enough time when they have enough time to visit all the places? How is it, Honorable Speaker? So with that, I oppose this motion, and I would like to urge the House to reject it, and probably let's find a way of making the report to be more amenable to being passed. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable members, I believe you've exhausted on deliberating over this motion. I now put the question that recommendation number 1, that the word county secretary be deleted and be replaced with the word public service board, so as to begin employment of instructions as a matter of urgency. Will as many as have similar opinion say aye?
Aye.
And will as many as have contrary opinion say nay?
Nay.
Ayes have it. Honorable members, Honorable member from Koyandurio.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to give the right of reply.
I'll take it by events. You can proceed. Proceed.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Due to a lot of other motions ahead, I'm requesting that we make that right of reply by thanking the honorable members of this House on adopting the report with amendments. Thank you, honorable members, and we are looking forward as a committee to come to all the VTC centers within your wards. Give us time, at the same time, give us support as a committee in monitoring and evaluation. Mr. Speaker, sir, say that when we'll come back in due course, we'll be able to visit all the old VTCs and the new ones. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I thank you all members. Be pleasant.
Honorable members, I'll proceed to put the question that this House adopts the second report of the Committee on Education and Vocational Training Committee on the status of the new vocational training centers with amendments as laid on the table of the House on 16th May 2024. Will as many as have similar opinion say aye?
Aye.
And will as many as have contrary opinion say nay? Ayes have it. Next order.
Order number 9, motion.
Honorable member, I know this motion was adjourned and therefore it is a continuation. I believe so. Yeah. Proceed, Honorable Chamalan.
Honorable Speaker, I wish to propose that the Committee on Administration and Public Service report on monitoring and evaluation of Kapsabet Disaster Management Unit be amended as follows. That the committee observation, finding, and recommendation, committee finding number 1 be amended by deleting Article 46(1) and replaced with Article 47(1). Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and allow me to invite Honorable Bridget Songo to second.
Honorable member, before I propose the question, are you amending the committee? Is it, you said that the committee observations, findings, and recommendations?
Yes, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable member, I've had an opportunity of going through the said committee observations, findings, and recommendations, and I can't see where Article 46 is replaced with Article 47, unless maybe I have a different report.
Honorable Speaker, on page 20.
Yes, there is the word Article 46. Is it the same report that initially was talking of Section 46?
Yes, Honorable Speaker.
Then how was that amended to become article? Honorable Chairperson, I remember the other day when you were deliberating on the floor of this house as regard that particular paragraph, and as at then, the original report was reading section 46. And here today we have a report talking of Article 46. What do you have to say about that? Honorable Keter, you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. You see, we are actually almost reading from the same page, Mr. Speaker. It's only that the English is a bit different. Some of us, we did the Gary Francis, Mr. Speaker, while others did the 844 system. That is why we could be reading in the same page, Mr. Speaker. But it is taking us in a different direction.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Honorable Tarbe, under our standing order.
Under standing order 9, the accuracy of fact, Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
Is the honorable member for Jemundu in order to miss this out, Mr. Speaker? Because all these honorable members swore to defend the Constitution, Mr. Speaker, and we understand there is a difference between article and sections, Mr. Speaker. If you quote Article 46 of the Constitution and a section, Mr. Speaker, those are two different things, Mr. Speaker. So the honorable member is misleading the House. Is he in order, Mr. Speaker, to mislead that the two words can be used, Mr. Speaker?
Honorable member from Chemundu, what do you mean by saying that we're reading from the same page?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I think the honorable member from Nandi, Mr. Speaker, is also misleading. He didn't even understand. I was talking of the terms and the education, the type of education that we undergo, Mr. Speaker. So I didn't mention anything to do with Constitution, Mr. Speaker. I said some people done the Gary Francis English, Mr. Speaker, and others did 844 system, Mr. Speaker. So in this case, sometimes, Mr. Speaker, it is good to be a good listener, Mr. Speaker. So I never mentioned anything to do with Constitution, Mr. Speaker, unless the honorable member was not, well, maybe he was just arrested.
Well, Honorable Chamalan, I've had an opportunity to compare the two, and indeed it appears that in the first document it was just the same Article 46. I can give us a benefit of doubt because I read the report. I am the one who raised that point of concern that we don't have a section in the Constitution. Honorable Keter was to move an amendment, but then today I'm getting a report that talks of article and not section. Honorable members, I'll therefore proceed to propose the amendment that the committee observation, finding, and recommendation. Finding number 1 be amended by deleting Article 46(1) and replace it with Article 47(1) thereof. Honorable members, I'll proceed to put the question that the Committee on Administration and Public Service report on the monitoring and evaluation of the Kapsabet Disaster Management Unit, observation finding number 1 be amended by deleting Article 46(1) and replace it with Article 47(1) thereof. Will as many as of similar opinion say aye?
Aye.
And will as many as of contrary opinion say nay? Ayes have it. Honorable members, I'll therefore proceed to also propose the question on the adoption of the Administration and Public Service Report on the monitoring and evaluation of the Kapsabet Disaster Management Unit with amendments. The debate is on, honorable members. Honorable Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, now that the crucial part has been amended by the chair, I request that you put the question, and I call upon Honorable Sangutei to second.
Honorable members, I'll proceed to put the question that this House adopts the report on administration and public service on the monitoring and evaluation of the Kapsabet Disaster Management Unit laid on the table of the House on 9th May 2024 with amendments. Will as many as of similar opinion say aye?
Aye.
And will as many as of contrary opinion say nay? Ayes have it. Next order.
Order number 10, motion.
Honorable Mosbey, I know this is also the resumption of this motion.
Yes, Mr. Speaker.
You had already moved the motion.
Yes, Mr. Speaker. I think we had debated this motion, and when I was about to rise to give right of reply, an honorable member noted that there was no quorum. So I seek your guidance, Mr. Speaker, because the motion had been debated, and the looks of it was that the motion was was to be adopted, Mr. Speaker, but for that hitch of the quorum.
Okay, noted. Honorable member. Honorable members, you seem to have debated on this motion. Should I proceed and put the question?
Yes.
Honorable members, I proceed to put the question that aware that the Kenyan Constitution places a strong emphasis on public finance principles and stipulates that the public funds shall be spent responsibly and prudently, acknowledging the county assembly's legal mandated principal oversight function in the county government, recognizing that it is the county assembly's duty to see to it that all investments and assets are kept up to date and correctly declared, recognizing that the county government owns a substantial fleet of earth-moving equipment for road construction and maintenance and fleet of vehicles, concerned about the need for effective and efficient control, utilization, safeguarding, transparency, disposal, and accountability in the procurement, acquisition, fueling, and servicing of vehicles, plant, machinery, and equipment, deeply troubled by the observed state of county vehicles, languishing in various garages across the county, and others lacking proper servicing schedules or fueling registers and detailed orders, further disturbed by the lack of thorough fleet management strategy in place at the county government to guarantee the safe and effective use, control, and administration of plant machinery, including earth-moving machines and equipment. It is essential that transport managers, drivers, and machine operators are aware of their roles when it comes to management of the county vehicles and machinery. Now, this House resolves that, 1, the County Executive Committee create a thorough fleet management policy within 30 days of these motions' approval. 2, this policy has to include every facet of responsibility and management for the county government vehicles, plants, and equipment. 3, the county government to ensure that this formulated policy includes clear provisions for the effective control, utilization, safeguarding, and management of all county government vehicles, plant machinery, including the earth-moving machines and equipment form. The policy should also lay out the responsibilities of drivers, machine operators, and transport managers concerning the proper use and maintenance of county vehicles and machinery. And lastly, 5, once the fleet management policy is developed, it should be submitted to the county assembly for consideration and adoption. Will as many as have similar opinion say aye?
Aye.
And will as many as have contrary opinion say nay? Ayes have it. Next order.
Order number 11, motion.
The honorable member from Olesos.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I would just like to say a few things about the motion, because I think I'd spoken up to halfway.
Honorable member from Olesos, this is a motion that has not been moved. I am aware that because of the quorum hitch, you are unable to substantially move this motion and for it to be seconded. So I'll urge you to move the motion.
There is also another role, that of disciplinary measures, and even the question of the general maintenance and achievements of the principles of public service as set out in the Article 232 of the Constitution. I also note, Honorable Speaker and honorable members, that there have been efforts both by this House working together with the county executive to bring some order in the county public service. What has occasioned this is the idea that the county has had a higher wage bill than is stipulated in the law. As indicated clearly in the motion, the Controller of Budget found that our wage bill was standing at about over 60%. The CFSP for the financial year 2024-2025, which is a projection, honorable members, of the executive, put it at 54.4. And considering, therefore, Honorable Speaker, that the values, national values, including the objectives of devolution, which call on county governments to run democratic, accountable, transparent processes. Honorable Speaker, this motion calls for exactly that. And this House, Honorable Speaker, I want to set out, is an oversight body. It is an oversight body. And this term oversight, Honorable Speaker, sometimes, if you read it in one way, it can mean that you failed to see or that you saw. I'm calling on this House to see, to oversight the executive. The executive cannot be given a free hand to do as they please. Honorable Speaker, it is common knowledge that it is not known clearly, and I have read some of the reports, the budget reports, in almost all of them, there was a recommendation that the county government of Nandi, and in this case, me referring to the executive, have a staff establishment that is known, whose emoluments are also known, and so that we cannot or should not pay ghosts, as is sometimes implied. So, Honorable Speaker, it came, this House resolved at some point that let there be an independent audit process. This House further appropriated 5 million shillings to that effect. However, Honorable Speaker, it is perplexing. It is really surprising that such a process would go on in an opaque manner. Where this House does not know the terms of reference, if, first of all, does not know if an independent auditor has been brought on board, does not know who the auditors are, even including their qualification, does not know the terms of reference. This House does not know what this audit process entails. To avoid victimization, to avoid cherry picking, and also noting, Honorable Speaker, that the same executive or the same service board was in place when the mess was occasioned. It would be surprising, Honorable Speaker, for this House to let the same officials who are present, who probably employed people wrongly to purport to undertake an audit only by themselves without the knowledge of this House. So I'm calling on this House, and Honorable Speaker, I know that sometimes it can be a bit emotive. Maybe I have had occasion to speak to fellow colleagues, and they have told me that we do not wish to halt the process since it is ongoing. And I have asked them, which process is ongoing? Who is leading the process? What is the role of the county executive in that? What is the role of the chief officers? What is our role? Are we just going to sit by and allow a process to go on without our knowledge? Are we going to allow a process to go on in the same way that a similar process that was purported to have gone on in Kaimosi, and this House was informed that something serious was going on in Kaimosi? The report of that process, Honorable Speaker, has not been forthcoming. When this House adopted the budget 23-24, the budget report, there was a resolution therein that the Kaimosi report be made available to this House immediately. I'm sure the Honorable Chair for Budget knows that. It is there, this House already resolved that this be done. But it has not been done. So why would we want to believe? right now that finally, the executive is interested in correcting the messes on their own. Honorable Speaker, how do we avoid a situation whereby a qualified resident of Nandi, who probably was not employed procedurally, yet that person is qualified, that person is in a clinic somewhere, that person is in a ECD center somewhere teaching, yet there could be somebody else who is earning without even being in the country. How can we be sure that finally when this so-called audit that is being done behind the curtain, without the knowledge of this House, will result or will not result in the victimization of this young person who might have actually bought, in quotes, there are allegations, Honorable Speaker. And I say allegations because I really do not have any proof. It is alleged that employment letters have been sold. The people who sold these employment letters are still sitting pretty in office. They are enjoying facilitation by the county government of Nandi, yet this innocent Nandi person might be running around helter-skelter because of a problem occasioned by somebody else. And that is why, Honorable Speaker, I would have loved that this House gets the terms of reference so that we can get the delimitations. Is it going all the way to 2013? Or where is the cutoff? Is it going to be dealing with promotions? Or is it going to be dealing with people being put in the payroll illegally? What is the audit? So the question, honorable members, is what is this audit? And if this House does not know, what can we say? What can we say to our fellow, the people we represent? If my people in Lesotho ask me, what is this thing that you say is going on? What will I answer? I'm asking this honorable House to help me get these answers. I should want to state also, Honorable Speaker, as I conclude, that earlier on, my seconder, I had spoken to Honorable Chelule to second, and apparently he's not in the House. So if there is indeed any member in this chamber who agrees with me, they feel free to go ahead and second. I do not know whether there would be any such a person, Honorable Speaker, because the seconder, the one I had spoken to, is missing. I've tried to reach him on phone. He's not answering. But I rest my case, and I would like to urge this House, first of all, if I will be lucky enough to get a seconder, then that's so be it. Other than that, I would like to know what the audit process that is purported to be going on is. I would like to know, and I would like to be sure that no Nandi resident is going to be victimized because of a mistake that was done by somebody else. I would wish, Honorable Speaker, that this audit process also involves testimonies from witnesses. Where is the witness protection process for this? If somebody is sitting somewhere there and they have information, how do we know that those people can be protected to give evidence on how this mess was occasioned in the first place? So I rest my case, honorable members. Can anybody is free to second?
Honorable Speaker, it may be an informational inquiry from the the chair.
Honorable Sang, unless you're rising to second the motion, you can remain seated.
Honorable Speaker, you are anticipating what I want to say, Honorable Speaker. Make me rest my case, Honorable Speaker, because I was asking Honorable Speaker whether there is such a motion that we can say anybody to second. I've never had, I'm a senior member of this county assembly.
He has invited the members of this house
Is it allowed?
to second the motion.
Everybody to second?
Anyone.
I've never heard of it, Honorable Speaker. Maybe this is my first time, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Tarbay.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, whenever a motion is moved, the seconder may rise and sit. So can we say that Honorable Sang has seconded the motion by rising, Mr. Speaker?
Honorable Speaker, I'm not in second of the motion, but I was asking whether such motion has been there, meaning that the motion is no longer not there. Because if there is no second and they have no the motion mover.
Honorable Sang, I need to get the house, Honorable Sang. The honorable member from Lesos has moved a motion and is invited any member of this house to second. Thereafter, Honorable Sang, you are on your feet and you are seeking a clarification from the chair whether there is such a motion. I think, honorable members, as it stands right now, the motion has been moved by the honorable member from Olesos. We are awaiting its secondment so that it can go through the other process. There's no one seconding the motion.
Let me ask Honorable Kevolwe to, let me try him.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. For the sake of him, seemingly to be vulnerable, I second the motion.
Honorable members, the motion having been seconded, I will proceed to propose that, aware that Article 232 of the Constitution sets out values and principles of public service, such as transparency, high standards of professional ethics, efficient, effective, and economic use of resources, responsive, prompt, effective, impartial, and equitable provision of services, involvement of the people in the process of policy making, accountability for administrative acts, transparency, and provision of the public of timely, accurate information. Further, aware that Article 35 of the Constitution provides for the right to access information, and Article 185(3) of the Constitution gives the County Assembly power to oversight the County Executive while respecting the principle of separation of powers, considering that the Office of the Controller of Budgets County Government Budget Implementation Review Report for the first half of financial year 2023-2024, dated February 2024 at page 428, stipulates the wage bill to be at 60.5 of the available revenue. Further, considering that the Nandi County Fiscal Strategy Paper of 2024 dated February 2024 at page 38 shows that the wage bill to be at 54.45% of the total revenue, noting that Section 107 of the Public Finance Management Act provides that the expenditure on wages and benefits for public officers shall not exceed 35% of the total revenue. Further, noting that the county is in a perilous state with the resource envelope being finite and further straining it will prevent the county from achieving its core mandate under Article 174 of the Constitution. Appreciating that the Kaimosi staff verification exercise was done in 2022, and to date, the County Public Service Board has not made the report public. Further, appreciating that the County Assembly resolved to have an independent auditor appointed and further allocated monies for the exercise in the supplementary budget, cognizant that only an independent audit process would unearth the underlying human resource issues that have affected the county, this House resolves as follows. 1, that this House be furnished with all the information as to whether the said independent firm has been engaged. If not, when is it proposed to be done? If yes, the House to be supplied with the following. A, the County Executive Committee decision ratifying the engagement of the external independent auditor. 2, the name of the firm. C, terms of engagement of independent auditor. Among other things, this should include the number and credentials of the auditors, the nature of the engagement, the level of facilitation. D, the terms of reference, TORs, of the independent audit firm. Number 2, the county secretary should furnish the above information to this House within 7 days whether the audit process has commenced or not. 3, if the process has commenced, then the same be halted temporarily pending the furnishing of the requested information and further deliberations and concurrence with the County Assembly. 4, the County Executive Member for Finance provides a breakdown of how the Kenya shillings 5 million allocated by the County Assembly for the human resource audit will be utilized. 5, the Service Board A shares with this House the report of the 2022 staff audit that took place in Kaimosi immediately and in any event within the next 7 days. B, the shares the report with the public within the 7 days. Number 6, the County Executive Committee, pursuant to Article 183(1)(c) of the Constitution, to furnish this House with information on the intended level of involvement of the following persons in the independent audit process. A, the County Executive Committee. B, the County Secretary. C, the County Public Service Board. D, the Chief Officers and other junior members of the staff. And E, the County Assembly. Number 7, the independent audit report be made available to the County Assembly as soon as the process is completed and in any event before any decisions are arrived by the County Executive. Yeah. So, honorable members, the motion is now live for debate. Honorable member from Kapkangani.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I oppose the report. The motion, Mr. Speaker. Why, Mr. Speaker, I would want this House to be honest? Because it is this assembly who are complaining that there is ballooning of the staff in this county. To an extent that, Mr. Speaker, it is difficult to have more development in awards. Mr. Speaker, for the independent audit to be there, Mr. Speaker, it is this county assembly. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, at times it is good to be honest, so that when we say do something, Mr. Speaker, let's allow the process to continue. Mr. Speaker, I want to say, in fact, the motion is almost overtaken by events, Mr. Speaker, because it is all 3 weeks now since the independent audit, Mr. Speaker.
Point of order,
came in
Speaker.
place.
Honorable Kirongo, you may remain seated. Under what standing order, Honorable Maina?
On clarification of facts, could the honorable member explain to this House what he is referring to when he says that there is an ongoing process and that it has been going on for 3 weeks? Is this House seized of such? And if so, could he table evidence? And if not, can he withdraw?
Honorable Kirongo, you've been called to task to take the responsibility for the statement of the facts that you've said.
Unless it is given time, Mr. Speaker, otherwise it is common knowledge that auditors are there. Who sanctioned the auditors to be there, Mr. Speaker? It is this county assembly, Mr. Speaker. And the honorable member from Lesos is aware. Only that, Mr. Speaker, you know, if he's saying that there are no auditors, what are we halting, Mr. Speaker? So, Mr. Speaker, it's actually, at times it's good to be honest, so that we allow the process. This House sanctioned the executive, Mr. Speaker, to conduct independent audit, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, I want this House to reject this motion in totality, Mr. Speaker. This is malice, Mr. Speaker. This is malice, and you know, Mr. Speaker, to make the matters worse, Mr. Speaker.
Did the honorable member clarify, and is this House going to take it in his record that something called common knowledge? Are we going to operate by that? And is there such a thing as common knowledge being used in this House? I just wish for the honorable member to clarify. There is really no problem about what his position is. But could he clarify and tell us which auditors are where?
Honorable Kirongo, kindly please respond to that.
If he doesn't know, he can just say, I don't know.
Speaker, I am aware that there are auditors in this county, Mr. Speaker. Unless I'm an honorable member, Mr. Speaker, and being an honorable member, information that are in this county, I'm aware. Unless the honorable member from Resources is operating on his own way, Mr. Speaker. But for me, Mr. Speaker, and these honorable members, Mr. Speaker, are aware that they are auditors, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, Honorable Isaiah Maina, you heard that the honorable member from Kapkangani confirms that indeed there are auditors within the county and is both the responsibility of that statement. Proceed, Honorable.
Honorable Speaker, could he, I know that the standing orders gives you power to allow the honorable member to provide a
point of order, Mr. Speaker.
I'm on a point of order.
Honorable Tarbe remain seated. Honorable Isaiah is on his point of order.
So it's fair enough. If he knows that there are auditors and he wants to take responsibility, the only way that he can do that is by tabling evidence in this House. Otherwise, he would have to withdraw, Honorable Speaker. We cannot have it in the records of this House, something that does not have evidence, unless, Honorable Speaker, we are changing the rules. And you can give him time. Let him, in the next sitting, provide the evidence.
Honorable Kirongo.
Mr. Speaker, I can confirm that there are auditors, and if given time, Mr. Speaker, I'll provide evidence, Mr. Speaker.
Well, you may remain seated.
Point of order, Honorable Speaker.
I was about to give directions on the point of order raised by the honorable member from Olesos, together with the response from the honorable member from Kapkangani. What is it, Honorable Birech?
Point of order, Honorable Speaker. On
under what standing order, Honorable
number 90, Honorable Speaker. I think the member of County Assembly from Olesos is contradicting himself, Honorable Speaker. He is seeking statement himself on the status of name of the farm. At the same time, he is seeking status on terms of reference. And he is saying there are no auditors. So what is he seeking from this statement, Honorable Speaker? I just need clarification.
Honorable Birech, reading at item 1, where he says that this house be furnished with the information as to whether the said independent firm has been engaged. He says, if not, when is it proposed to be done? If yes, the house to be supplied with the following. I think that is well settled in that particular statement. In my keen reading of the motion. Honorable Kirongo. Honorable Kirongo, you are a ranking member of this house and you know what the provisions of Standing Order 92 provides. That if a member has sufficient reason to convince the Speaker that the member is unable to substantiate the allegations instantly, the Speaker shall require that such member substantiate the allegations not later than the next sitting. So, Honorable Kirongo, kindly provide information to this House in the next sitting, and I know the sanctions. Proceed.
Point of order, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Maina, under what standing order?
On imputing improper motive, the ranking honorable member talked of the word malice. He said this is malice.
Honorable Isaiah Maina, I think I'll not allow that. You've already raised a number of points of order, and it is not possible that you can raise a point of order when the honorable member is seated. Unless he is on his feet, that is when you can interject by raising a point of order. Honorable, proceed.
Anyway, Mr. Speaker, I oppose the report, Mr. Speaker. And I want to agree with honorable member from Tintred that the member from Melosos is contradicting himself, Mr. Speaker, because number 7 says the independent audit report be made available to the County Assembly as soon as the process is completed. What process, Mr. Speaker? So, Mr. Speaker, I totally oppose the report. Thank you.
Can I clarify?
Honorable Tarbey.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I rise to strongly oppose this motion, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, there is an English saying which says you cannot eat your cake and have it. Mr. Speaker, the honorable member, although I know is a well-informed member, but is taking this house in cycles, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this honorable house has a goodwill of the people of Nandi. That's why we allocated resources for auditing, Mr. Speaker. And for record, we allocated 5 million for auditing, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the county government is separated into two arms, the county executive and the county assembly. Mr. Speaker, the county assembly cannot do what the executive should do. What the honorable member wants us to do, Mr. Speaker, is what the county executive have been mandated to do. Mr. Speaker, like if I was asking myself, we want to know the name of the farm. So what, Mr. Speaker? Unless we are interested parties, unless we have audit firms that we are interested that they should be given maybe particular jobs, Mr. Speaker, that answers the question number 1P. That's what the name of the farm, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, protect me, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Tarbey, Honorable Maina is on his point of order. Honorable Maina, under what standing order?
Could he substantiate and clarify when he says that this is a role that is given to the executive? Could he point us to the place where in the law it says that the executive is given the mandate to audit? Could he clarify? And if not, could he withdraw and apologize?
Honorable Tarbey, you've mentioned that these are roles. Did you mean the audit role or any other role that the county government is mandated or executive?
Mr. Speaker, for a correct term, maybe the honorable member should have used common sense. It's common sense in the executive that, Mr. Speaker, for procurement of a reputable audit firm, you procure, Mr. Speaker, and several firms apply. So it's the role of the executive. That's the procurement department in the executive, Mr. Speaker, who procures now the audit firm and the rest. That's what I wanted to mean, Mr. Speaker, because that cannot be done by the county assembly. Even if we are given the Kuku auditing firm, Mr. Speaker, as the most qualified firm, the executive has that mandate because the Procurement Act, Mr. Speaker, is clear. And that procurement responsibility is done by the executive and not the assembly. That's what I intended to do, Mr. Speaker. So I was going through this motion, Mr. Speaker, and it's just a baseless motion because even if we are told it is PricewaterhouseCoopers, which they did in Homa Bay, Mr. Speaker, how will we change that as an assembly? It's not an our mandate, Mr. Speaker, because ours is just to allocate resources to the county executive. They do the executive meetings. They forward it to procurement. They procure a reputable firm. What we await in this house, Mr. Speaker, is a report. And that's where the contradiction is, Mr. Speaker. In part 3, the honorable member says that if the process has commenced, then the same be held. In part 7, Mr. Speaker, it's saying the independent report. So if the process has been held, Mr. Speaker, which report are we awaiting as the honorable house? Mr. Speaker, I believe these honorable members have more important things to deal, Mr. Speaker. Rather than to contradict yourself, you want the process to take place, at the same time you don't want, you allocate resources, at the same time before the executive implement the resources you have allocated, you want to stop them. Mr. Speaker, I believe this honorable member has better things to do than to be taken in cycle, Mr. Speaker, because even the executive will be confused. This honorable house is the same who allocated resources. Mr. Speaker, before the resources are implemented, we want the breakdown of resources. That is not our mandate, Mr. Speaker, because even the same resources have not been implemented. So how do you intend? Because, Mr. Speaker, even in the history of this...
You should be winding up the honorable member from Nandi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, because even the chairman for Pick and Pack tells you that audit reports comes after the exercise. So you have just given resources. The resources have not been utilized. You want an audit report from where, Mr. Speaker? So this is a baseless report and should be rejected, Mr. Speaker, as soon as possible.
The honorable member from Kapsimoto.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I wish to stand and reject this report in totality, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, sir, the reason as to why we are here is as a result of what we have been doing as a house. Mr. Speaker, we've constantly resolved, and I'm happy the motion mover did actually confirm that I have always given through my committee recommendations to do with wage bill. So it's actually wage bill that has brought us here, Mr. Speaker, sir. And I am aware, and I believe the honorable motion mover is also very aware and is cognizant of the fact that it is the same house that caused the reasoning to do auditing because of the ballooning wage bill, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, we've gone ahead after we've done the same resolution under a certain venue. We as an entire house, Mr. Speaker, sir, we gave a resolution and we actually directed the executive to go ahead and do the audit, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir, after we've done the same, Mr. Speaker, we've just come in a few weeks, Mr. Speaker, sir. Thereafter, we have...
Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Minor, under what standing order?
On this question, you let the ranking member to pass. And now the chairman of budget is also alluding to the fact that there is a certain role of a body called the executive that involves auditing. I have requested that this is our honorable house and it operates on rules. We swore to protect the Constitution. Could you just cite where it says that one of the roles of the county executive is to undertake audit of its staff or payroll or whatever it is that you purportedly know is going on? Honorable Speaker, I wish for you to protect me because it seems
you are highly protected, the honorable member from
this house, Honorable Speaker, is in receipt of some audit process that is going on, and you are letting honorable members to keep on referring to something that does not exist as far as I'm concerned. And at the same time, mention that the executive somehow have this role on their own. And yet, Honorable Speaker, I've also cited Article 235 of the Constitution It is a constitutional role given to this House and the executive to do staffing. This is an issue on staffing.
Honorable member from Kapsimotwo, would you be able to substantiate that?
The Honorable Speaker, thank you for the opportunity. Mr. Speaker, it is very clear, Mr. Speaker, sir, that after we've allocated resources as an assembly, as a legislative arm, Mr. Speaker, sir, when it comes to implementation, it is actually the executive who does the implementation. Mr. Speaker, sir, we went ahead to allocate resources through supplementary budget, Mr. Speaker, in a few weeks. And thereafter, what followed was to do an implementation of the same, Mr. Speaker, sir. And after we've allocated resources, Mr. Speaker, we actually did allowed the executive to proceed. And I'm happy that is the chairman implementation, Mr. Speaker, sir. This is the implementation taking place. When it comes to auditing, it is us allocating resources, and the implementation bit has been done by the executive, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Honorable member from Kapsimotwo, what concerns the honorable member from Olesos is the auditing process, whether it is an executive function?
Mr. Speaker, sir, definitely it is, because, Mr. Speaker, it is part of the implementation. We did allocate the resources, and it is in turn for them to now implement. That is why it is happening, Mr. Speaker, sir. I thank you.
Can he cite? I would like this House. I do not have a problem with how the members regard the motion. I don't actually have a problem with whether they even think it is baseless. That's the least of my concerns. But I would like that as we go unanswered, let it be known that you are mentioning citing the law. So before he is just allowed to get away with it, Honorable Speaker, can he lead us to the law and say, this part of the law says audit is to be done by the executive? Can he cite it?
Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker,
yes,
I need to inquire from your office, because we wanted to be the Honorable Speaker, and the member, you have given him an opportunity to move the motion. Give us time, Honorable Speaker, to discuss about this motion, and then when time comes, he will defend himself whether the motion will go through, so that to give us an opportunity to contribute and debate for this motion, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Sang,
because he is dominating Honorable Speaker in this House.
Honorable Sang remain seated. Honorable Sang, when a point of order is raised by any honorable member, the Speaker has the discretion to grant him an opportunity to prosecute his or her point of order.
Point of information, Mr.
And before that, Honorable Tarbe, the honorable member from Kapsimotwo, are you able to cite the law, or it is you unable? That is what the honorable member requires.
Mr. Speaker, sir, our county government is a going entity, Mr. Speaker, sir. And indeed, under PFM Act, it is actually provided for as a going entity, Mr. Speaker, sir, as its own functionality to ensure that any other function that is allocated through the legislative arm, Mr. Speaker, sir, is undertaken by the going concern, which is guided by the PFM Act, Mr. Speaker, sir. I thank you.
Well, honorable member from Tinderet.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. First and foremost, Honorable Speaker, I reject this motion in totality. Honorable Speaker, county governments are treated like any other entity as a going concern, as alluded by my colleague, Honorable Korir. Honorable Speaker, Public Audit Act gives an opportunity county executive to conduct any audit at any level of government, at any department, under the Public Audit Act. Honorable Speaker, these House appropriated resources, and it's not the responsibility of this House, again, to follow out the process has been conducted. It is the responsibility of this House to await for the report. Once we have appropriated the resources, it's our responsibility as a House to await for the report. And what we are doing currently, Honorable Speaker, It's us to await as to when this house will be furnished with the report. And therefore, going in circles with all these contradicting statements, Honorable Speaker, is not fair. Because on the other hand, you want to have terms of reference. On the other hand, you have appropriated the resources. On the other hand, Honorable Speaker, you want to know the farm, which is not the responsibility of this Honorable House. Honorable Speaker, I rise to reject this motion in totality. Thank you.
The Honorable Deputy Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. For giving me this opportunity. And also, one time, Honorable Maina told me the majority have their say and the minority have their way. I don't know whether it is vice versa. But this motion, Honorable members, I think we will not see the light of the day in most of the reasons. One, I was the only one, honorable members, that I disagree with the audit report. And we were the honorable members that requested that we need to have the audit report for some various reasons. One, it was because of the wage bill. That if we can continue with the number of the bloated wage bill, we will not actualize the ward fund. And we all agreed with the executive that let us have this so that we can see if we have the cost workers, if we can see there are those people that are in payroll and we have told that started the duty, they are outside the country, as said by the Honorable Maina, that is, there are members that are earning that are not. So we did request the executive to have the independent audit report so that we have the wage bill reduced and actualize the ward fund. And that is where we are going in the next financial. So I'm requesting the members to give opportunity to the executive to execute their powers and make sure that this audit is given as soon as possible. I think that one could be the honorable member telling us that the audit is ongoing, but it must be very fast to make sure that at the end of this budget, we must have known how much have we saved as the county assembly from the executive. So I want to say that the honorable member and honorable members that I'm in agreement that let us reject this motion in totality to ensure that the service delivery in this county is being actualized. I'm requesting that Honorable Shiangu that it's a very good motion, that it came at the wrong time, that these members requires a lot of money for their development in most of the honorable members. If we can pass this motion, there is nothing will be done in our wards. And I want to tell you that if the wards fund will be actualized come next year, most of us will come back in 2027 to be the members of this county assembly. So if you adopt this motion, it means we are sending ourselves home. So to save us here is to reject this motion so that we can continue being the members of this county come in years to come. Otherwise, honorable members, I'm rejecting this motion, but you have Honorable Shiangu, you are my friend, but after this we'll go and take tea, but this one will not see the light of that. Thank you, honorable members.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
Under what point of standing order, Honorable Tarbey?
I'm not sure what the standing order, but is the honorable member in order to address Honorable Shangu? I think it is the speaker to be addressed, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, Honorable Speaker, I think in fact I'm supposed to address you, Honorable Speaker, as the chair, as the Speaker of the Assembly, but maybe it was a slip of the tongue because I was speaking with my friend because we have been together, and he told me to second, but I was afraid of seconding because I knew that the things will not happen. Thank you, but I'm supposed to address the Speaker. Thank you, Honorable.
Honorable Speaker, I wish to clarify a few things before, because as of, there is an allusion, because it's been mentioned that probably I would like to send people home. I wish to clarify. Let it be known to this House, first of all, that if at the end of the day a process goes on and it is not clear from the beginning, then the likelihood of going home becomes bigger. Because when you talk about a process that is supposed to be going on, and if you're asked right now, even when you go home and you're asked today, which process is that? I see my friend from Tindred. If the Tindred people ask him today to substantiate to them what exactly is going on, I really become, it becomes dangerous because somebody is thinking that I'm opposing the process. And that's what I wanted to clarify for the members. Please know that I support the audit process fully. I support fully. The only problem is I cannot support.
Inquiry,
Honorable Sang.
Honorable Speaker, in fact, I was the one on the floor, but I could ask Honorable Speaker if there's something called clarity in the standing orders to clarify, Honorable Speaker, because
Honorable Sang.
It's an inquiry. I know inquiry is there, Honorable Speaker, but clarity, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Sang.
Protect us, Honorable Speaker, from this man.
Sang, well, you can remain seated. Honorable Sang, as the chair, I have the discretion to grant an honorable member an opportunity to clarify something if he's been adversely mentioned.
Actually, Honorable Speaker, it is even provided in the standing orders. Whenever I have made a speech in this house, and it is not clear.
Just proceed, Honorable Minor, because...
So I would like to end there. I do not want to take too long, but I just wanted to say to honorable members, I appreciate the fact that you may not support or anything like that, but I wanted it to be clear. Let it be clear even to our people, our constituents, that I wanted to have a more clear process. Because we keep talking about a process, but then when you're asked, which process is it? As an honorable member, you do not know it. And then somebody would like to also to allude that such a process is allowed to go on until it ends. Then that's the time you know. Anyway, Honorable Speaker, I rest my case.
Well, Honorable Member from, I can now see your senior Honorable Kevolwe. Thereafter, Honorable Member from Kapsabet.
Asante sana
But again, Honorable Speaker, a minute, Honorable Sang. Honorable Kevolwe, you had spoken. I thought you were raising a point of order.
Yeah.
You had already seconded the motion. And you've not raised a point of order. You can remain seated. Honorable Member from Kapsabet. Honorable Member from Kapsabet.
Mr. Speaker, thank you. Thank you for giving me this opportunity, Mr. Speaker, to contribute to this motion. And before I say whether I support or I reject, is that, Mr. Speaker, going by the contents of this motion, to some extent, Mr. Speaker, I'm a bit confused. Because when you see what the member for Olesos is asking for, to me, he has a genuine reason, but the time is wrong. Mr. Speaker, and to add on this, Mr. Speaker, is that the mess that we are in, as much as we want to reject this motion, we've also contributed to some extent. Mr. Speaker, if the honorable member could have brought this motion before even we appropriated the money, we could have actually supported this motion, Mr. Speaker. Because the issues being asked here, to me, are issues of great concern, Mr. Speaker. When we had the meeting with the executive, my understanding was that this process should have been all-inclusive so that we all participate in making sure that we have a free, fair, transparent, and accountable process. But after we appropriated the money, we were kept in the dark, Mr. Speaker. And when we were talking, when we had the discussion on what to do so that we solve the issue of the wage bill, we had agreed that we were going to be involved. Mr. Speaker, when you check on the contents of this, the honorable member is asking of an audit report that was done way back in 2022. And I'm aware that that report was tabled in this house, if I'm not wrong. Or if it has not been tabled, that report should have been tabled. Mr. Speaker, an audit was done, and we all know as honorable members that the audit that was done was far much even better. We were not in the wage bill of 60%. So, Mr. Speaker, we should own and say that we have all participated in all these messes that are here. But now, because now the process has begun, and we are not even sure whether the process has actually begun, Mr. Speaker. Let us be honest with ourselves. We are not sure whether that process we are talking about has actually begun. We are not sure. Even as much as I will plead with my brother that if the process has begun, let us not stop it, because we are in a real mess. Having that wage bill of 60% as put by the Honorable Deputy Speaker, the word fund will not be realistic. It will not be implemented. So, but because we need to solve a problem, and if the process has actually begun, I want to say that let us put this motion aside and we wait for the outcome of the process. Because stopping the process, we are creating a problem on top of a problem. Because already we are in a problem. Let us agree, we are all in a problem. We don't know even these people. And I know, and you know, Mr. Speaker, this might have been some of the reasons why I was, there are some valid questions that I asked. On the streets, we have people, our sons and daughters, they have contract letters, they are not in the payroll. Some of them, they have contract letters on contractual, but their terms are permanent and pensionable. Some of them, we hear that their contracts were not renewed because we don't know what was the reason. You find, Mr. Speaker, I personally have come
Should be winding up, Honorable Member from Kapsabet.
I personally have come around some 5 members of the public who were recruited way back in 2013. But up to now, their terms are on contractual basis. Then you find somebody who has been employed recently, the terms are on permanent and pensionable. So, Mr. Speaker, if the process has begun, I want to say that we are in a mess and we cannot solve a problem by creating another problem. Let us allow the process to proceed so that when the report of the audit that is being said it is going on, when that report will come to this house, that is now the time we shall interrogate that report. And if we shall know, if this house has the powers, if the audit report will not satisfy us, we have the powers to write even to the EACC, the Auditor General, and all other arms of the government to come and help us so that we can come out of this problem. Otherwise, I want to say, for now, this report should not be adopted by this House. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Can now see the Majority Leader is up. Majority Leader, thereafter the Honorable Member from Kabwareng. The members, we still have some other motions, so I'll call upon us to, be within the limits of time.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I also raise to oppose this motion of Honorable Maina. Honorable Speaker, solely because I'm in agreement with what members have raised. Honorable Speaker, when you look the contents of the motion, Honorable Speaker, it's actually a good motion, but the way my colleague have said, it is actually, Honorable Speaker, has been overtaken by offense, Honorable Speaker. Number one, Honorable Speaker, the 5 million which has been indicated by the Honorable Maina, actually we are the one who passed in this assembly, Honorable Speaker. And Honorable Speaker, the same amount we appropriated to be as the part of the money to be used in the audit process, we approved. And in fact, Honorable Speaker, we approve unanimously, Honorable Speaker. No member opposed that we are allocating 5 million. And we can check in the answer, Honorable Speaker. There were no nay who say that we will reject the 5 million to be allocated for audit process, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, on the issue number 2, Honorable Speaker, we are well aware that, Honorable Speaker, on the issue of wage bill, and from the reports from the Auditor General, from the Controller of Budget, we have a very huge wage bill, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I'm happy with the chairman for Pick and Pack. He has been handling a very serious issues on wage bill, Honorable Speaker, and I think he also went to Senate on the same, Honorable Speaker. And because we are remaining with, let's say, 1 month, Honorable Speaker, before we approve the budget for the next financial year, it means that, Honorable Speaker, we either get the right wage bill, or in the next financial year, Speaker, we encounter some problems, Honorable Speaker, in terms of the ward fund that we passed in this House, Honorable Speaker. So, Honorable Speaker, the way Honorable Xiang was raised this concern, Honorable Speaker, and I'm happy that as he raises, he's also the chairman of implementation, Honorable Speaker. And most of the reports which has been handled in this House, the only member who is entitled to address those issues is Honorable Maina, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I was going through the standing order, which actually is standing order which is meant for the Honorable Maina. That is Committee on Implementation, who is the chairman. It says, Honorable Speaker, there shall be a select committee to be known as the Committee on Implementation. The committee shall consist of a chairperson and not more than 6 other members. The committee shall scrutinize the resolution of the County Assembly, including the adopted committee reports, petitions, and the undertakings given by the County Executive Committee, and examine whether or not such decisions and undertakings have been implemented, and where implemented, the extent to which they have been implemented, and whether such implementation has taken place within the minimum time necessary. And number 2, Honorable Speaker, whether or not legislation passed by the County Assembly has been operationalized, and where operationalized, the extent to which such operation has taken place within the minimum time necessary. Honorable Speaker, the committee again has powers. The committee may propose to the County Assembly sanctions against any member of the County Executive Committee who fails to report to the relevant select committee on implementation status without justifiable reasons, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I'm aware that we were in the committee of the whole House about a week ago, Honorable Speaker. And when we had some members from the County Public Service Board, Honorable Speaker, I think we were the one who turned away the secretary, Honorable Speaker, because she has not been approved by this assembly. So, Honorable Speaker, when you write a motion again and say that the County Public Service Board to furnish to this House an information, Honorable Speaker, and yet the person who is entitled to furnish to this County Assembly is also the secretary of the board who is on an acting capacity, and we done away about 1 week ago, Honorable Speaker, we are lying to ourselves, Honorable Speaker. So I think, Honorable Speaker, because Honorable Maina is the chairman of implementation, and you can see even the second of the motion has run away, Honorable Speaker. The second of the motion has run away. It's not Honorable Batata, it is Honorable Gevolve. He is even confused as to whether he has contributed to the motion or not, Honorable Speaker, because he was not of the opinion to support the motion, Honorable Speaker. So I think, Honorable Speaker, I called the House. The motion was good, but it's coming at the wrong time. Let us wait for the report, Honorable Speaker, so that we can we can see how to support in the next phase, Honorable Speaker. So, Honorable Speaker, and I want to call the members, Honorable Speaker. The way Honorable members have said on the issue of wage bill, it is really a serious issue, Honorable Speaker, which we must handle. And I know Honorable Gebol has been having challenges of fuel, Tegreta, and all the issues, Honorable Speaker. And if we don't support this issue of aligning the wage bill, Honorable Speaker, we will have a serious issue, Honorable Speaker. So, because the second of the motion has run away, Honorable Speaker, let us disapprove this motion and wait for the next period, Honorable Speaker. I call upon the members to reject this motion in totality and wait until the report be concluded, Honorable Speaker. Thank you.
Honorable member from Kabwareng, in a minute. Thereafter, Honorable Isaiah will get a right of reply.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. It's really unfortunate that I'm talking after, giving me an opportunity after the majority leader has spoken. But as the chair of Public Accounts Committee, I feel like I should say something about this because I usually get audit reports that I'm dealing with in my committee. Honorable Speaker, I usually don't know who does the audit. I don't know who does the audit. Even this assembly has been audited several times, and I have about 6 or 7 reports of the assembly being audited.
Point of order.
Under outstanding order, Honorable
on
Maina.
on clarification of facts, Honorable Speaker. It is the member in order to claim, the chair of Pick and Pack, that he does not know who audits government agencies, ministries, and whatever else? Is he in order?
Honorable member from Kabwareng, where do you receive those reports from?
Honorable Speaker, allow members to complete statement before you just shout point of order.
Proceed then.
Thank you, Speaker. And we need protection because as the chair of Pick and Pack, I can say this question has different answers. I receive these reports from the speakers when he tables them in this house and commits them to my secretarial committee as the chair. Or I can even say I receive them from the Auditor General because it's written on top, Auditor General reports. But I don't know who does them. I don't know personally who comes in or if they hire a company to do the audit or if they hire anybody. Even the county assembly has an internal auditor. Maybe the internal auditor is the one doing the reports. Maybe in the executive, they have the internal auditor also. Maybe it's the one or the mandated to do the reports. I don't know. I know what I receive from this house once it's tabled in this house. And it's written on top, Auditor General report.
Then,
but I don't know physically who does the audit.
Therefore, Honorable member from Kabwareng, those reports emanates from the Auditor General.
Thank you very much. Thank you for clarifying that. Also clarifying to this member. So right now, in this house, we appropriated funds to do an internal audit, an independent internal audit for the executive to do in regards to wage bill, because wage bill has been an issue. And the minority leader has confirmed that the audit process, the independent audit process has already started. I'm taking that as a go. This process is already ongoing. So if the process is ongoing, you don't stop the process in the middle. We wait for the report. Maybe we can, and I want to ask the speaker, and I know this is stepping on my bounds, but when that report comes, maybe this time around, because it's an audit report, maybe you can give that report to the chair implementation. Then he can be able to answer all the questions that here. Give that report to that section so that they can be able to answer all the questions that are here in this report. Because the minority leader has already confirmed the report has started. When the report is tabled in this house, I want to humbly ask, my prayer is, Honorable Speaker, give that report to the implementation committee so that they can give us a report if all the questions that he's asking here have been answered. On matters funding.
Honorable member from Kabwareng. When those reports are, apparently we are anticipating, but when those reports are presented to the assembly, it will find its way to this assembly and not specifically to the chairperson in charge of implementation.
Honorable Speaker, because you usually table, according to the standing orders, you actually commit the reports to a sectoral committee. It was just a prayer. You don't have to follow it, but it was just a prayer because it was a prayer.
Unless
so
that will be, the relevant committee, so be it. But the same will be tabled to the relevant committee.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I stand guided. I stand guided, Honorable Speaker. Thank you very much. So on matters wage bill, this is a national crisis. The President himself has pronounced himself as the wage bill is an issue not only in counties, not only in our county as Nandi, but nationwide, in all the 47 counties. And I think this is a proclamation from the President. Us, as an Honorable House, together with the members who are here, we sat down and we appropriated 5 million in the supplementary budget to ensure that this process kicks off. And I'm happy that today it was announced in this House that the process is already kicked off. All of us, elected members, are really eager to read the report so that we ensure that this wage bill goes down so that...
Is the honourable member in order to claim that it has been announced in this House today that there is a sub-process that has started? Is he in order?
Honourable member from Kabwareng.
Honourable Speaker, I was very quiet when people were contributing, and the minority leader confirmed that the process already started. He even rose up 2, 3, 4 times on point of order trying to get that information correctly. But I, if any leader of this House can speak in this House and confirm, then as a member, I'm trusting that leader. So I trust the member.
I think the honourable member's problem is the term announced, that it has been announced.
Honourable Speaker, it was spoken in the House. It's in the Hansard.
Proceed then.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I oppose this motion.
Honourable Maina, you now have the right of
Thank you, Honourable
reply.
Speaker. I must say, first of all, Honourable Speaker, as I write to, as I reply, thank you, members. There is a new term that has suddenly come into the lips of many members, Honourable Speaker, and I'm concerned that they are rejecting at least quite a number opposed. So, you know, I thought probably it would be nice to oppose. However, having said that, I'd like to thank all the members for their contributions and say that it is part of the process. It's a continuous process. And I like the idea that you refer to me as a chair of implementation. And this is an implementation question. I don't know whether you are saying, in other words, that the implementation chair should not work. This is an implementation question. And we cannot just throw money in any direction and say we are just waiting. Whether the money landed or not, whether it was properly used, this House is here on a full-time basis. We deserve the right. I have seen honourable members, Speaker, going to inspect. The other day, we had members from the department, the sectoral committee on health. They said they paid an impromptu visit. Why didn't they wait for the reports in this House? Why did they go? There was even a report that we have just adopted, Honourable Speaker, on monitoring and evaluation. They visited the VCTs. Not VCT, but VTC. I mean, why didn't they wait, Honourable Speaker? Why didn't they wait for the executive to do their work? In any case, the executive will do their work. It is their work. But, Honourable Speaker, it is made very clear the executive does not have an audit process. And I take great exception, Honourable Speaker, when the Honourable Leader of Majority is the one who moved an amendment in an earlier motion saying, let this House resolve that the County Public Service Board does something. He's the one. Then he stands up and says, no. It does not have a substantive secretary, therefore we cannot refer to them.
Point of order, Honourable Speaker.
Honourable Majority under our standing order.
Is it in order for Honourable Minor to discuss another motion which has been dispensed? Honourable Speaker.
Isaiah Minor, will you please just restrict
I did not
yourself?
discuss the substance, Honourable Speaker. I was just talking about what we did. It's not the substance. It's not the substance of that motion. I was just saying that right now, you see, he was speaking at one moment and he says, let's direct this to the County Service Board. Then right now in this motion, he says, no, the Service Board probably doesn't exist. And in fact, the ranking member from Nandi, Honorable Tarbe, is the one who insisted that whenever you are talking about staff.
Point of order, Honourable Speaker.
Yes, Majority Leader. Honourable Minor, you may resume your seat.
Honourable Speaker, I raise under standing order number 31, 2, Honourable Speaker, that is 31, 2, and 3. Honourable Speaker, that unless for the convenience of the County Assembly, the Speaker or the Chairperson, as the case may be, directs earlier or later interruption of the business at 6:30 p.m. Honourable Speaker, when you read understanding of the number 4, that is 31.4, a motion under paragraph 3A shall be moved at least 30 minutes before the time appointed for adjournment, Honourable Speaker, because I can see the time we are remaining with 3 minutes before 6, Honourable Speaker. I call upon that we extension of time, and I call upon Honourable Kirongo to second. Honourable Speaker, through your indulgence, I call upon that we extend for another 40 minutes.
Honourable members, I think I've admitted that interruption of business of this county assembly is provided for under Standing Order 31 and is proposed by the Honourable Majority Leader and seconded. I put the question that this county assembly do extend its sitting time. Will as many as of similar opinion say aye?
Aye.
And will as many as of contrary opinion say nay?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Honourable
So
Majority.
as I conclude.
Wind up.
Yes, I'm winding up very quickly. I wanted to wind up, Honourable Speaker, with 2 comments. Before I was interrupted, I was saying that earlier on, we did indicate that you cannot possibly talk about staff if you have not mentioned county service board. From the members, they have indicated very clearly that they know of a certain process that is going on, but it is not being undertaken by the county service board. They've talked about the executive. I wish to indicate to members that the service board is a separate body from the executive. And indeed, the role of undertaking an audit is totally and unreservedly domiciled in the Public Service Board. That is provided in the County Government Act. So the executive cannot purport to undertake a role which it does not have. Number two, the Public Service Commission, which I hear probably has been tapped, there are allegations, has only one role where county governments are concerned: to sit in appeal, where county government officers, if they are aggrieved, can write to the Public Service Commission for their matter to be heard. It would be absurd, Honorable Speaker, to say to this House that the PSC is purportedly undertaking an audit where it is outrightly not, it is not in order because they are supposed to sit in appeal. Finally, Honorable Speaker, the role of staffing in counties is set out very clearly in Article 235, and it falls on the county government. The county government is the executive and the assembly. This assembly is on full-time basis. We cannot allow a process that is not defined to go on. I have heard members saying that yes, we appropriated 5 million. That yes, we called for the audit. But yes, we are always here. And that's why we keep making laws and amending. And this motion, therefore, even as I have seen the spirit, will fall, but the intention of this motion, honorable members, was to clarify was to ensure that that process, any process, is going to be accountable, is going to be transparent, is going to be verifiable. However, unfortunately, probably we might miss the opportunity. And I also accept the sentiments that maybe if it came earlier, members would have probably felt a little bit more better to support it. I want to thank my seconder, though, for coming to my aid. I would like to thank the Honorable Kevolwe from Kiptuya. Otherwise, I think we would not have had an occasion to discuss these many issues. Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and thank you, Honorable members, for the wonderful sentiments.
Honorable members, I'll therefore proceed to put the question on the status of the independent audit on human resource in Nandi County. That this House therefore resolves as follows. One, that this House be furnished with all the information as to whether the said independent firm has been engaged. If not, when is it proposed to be done? If yes, the House to be supplied with the following. A, the County Executive Committee decision ratifying the engagement of the external independent auditor. B, the name of the firm. C, terms of engagement of the independent auditor. Among other things, this should include the number and credentials of the auditors, the nature of the engagement, and the level of facilitation. D, the terms of references, TORs of the independent audit firm. 2, the county secretary should furnish the above information to this House within 7 days, whether the audit process has commenced or not. 3, that if the process has commenced, then the same be halted temporarily pending the furnishing of the requested information and further deliberations and concurrence with the county assembly. 4, the county executive member for finance provides a breakdown of how Kenya shillings 5 million allocated by the county assembly for the human resource audit will be utilized. 5, the service board, that the service board, A, shares with this House the report of the 2022 staff audit that took place in Kaimosi immediately and in any event within the next 7 days. B, shares the report with the public within the 7 days. Number 6, the County Executive Committee, pursuant to Article 1831C of the Constitution, to furnish this House with the information on the intended level of involvement of the following persons in the independent audit process. A, the County Executive Committee. B, the County Secretary. C, the County Public Service Board. D, the chief officers and other junior members of the staff. D, the County Assembly. Number 7, the independent audit report be made available to the County Assembly as soon as the process is completed and in any event before any decisions are arrived by the County Executive. Will as many as of similar opinion say aye?
Aye.
Will as many as of contrary opinion say nay?
Nay.
Nays have it. Honorable members, before the next order, I had made an undertaking to make a response on the issue of statements as prosecuted by the member from Olesos. Apparently, I'll be unable to deliver a ruling on the same until 12th June 2024. Next order.
Order number 12, motion.
Honorable Majority Leader.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I rise to move a motion on adjournment of the County Assembly. That aware that the County Assembly is to be on session in accordance with the County Assembly calendar, approved with Standing Order 29(1) and 2. Further aware that the Standing Order 28(1) provides that the County Assembly may, by resolution, alter its sitting dates specified in respect of a particular session, whereas Standing Order 28(3) provides that the County Assembly shall continue to be in session and may adjourn for such a number of days as it may determine in its calendar. Considering that the budget estimates have since been laid at the table of the House and stood committed to sectoral committees pursuant to Standing Order 210(3). Further, considering that the public position is constitutional requirement that has to be undertaken in the course of the budget planning process, cognizant that the budget estimates for financial year 2024-2025 are to be considered and passed not later than 30th June 2024. Appreciating that the members of the County Assembly are to take part in the budget making process, therefore, this House resolves to adjourn its sitting as from today, 28 May 2024, and resume on 11 June 2024. Honorable Speaker, budget making process is a very important exercise in the calendar of the County Assembly, and because we have this very important exercise, Honorable Speaker, for public possession, we have the report writing. Honorable Speaker, I call upon the House to support this motion so that we can proceed for that exercise, Honorable Speaker, which we done across the county. That is all the sub-counties, Honorable Speaker, in the county. And number 2, Honorable Speaker, we are even having again the issue of the issue of Flogger and the issue of DAPCT, Honorable Speaker, which the exercise is going on across the county. It will be also the chance of the members to ensure that we elect the right people to lead, to steer those Flogger and the NAPCT committees, Honorable Speaker. So, Honorable Speaker, without much ado, I call upon the House to support this motion of adjournment. I call upon Honorable Sangutei to second.
I do second, Mr. Speaker, sir, because it is an important exercise. Thank you.
Thank you, honorable members. Honorable members, aware that the Assembly, the County Assembly is to be on session in accordance with the County Assembly calendar approved in accordance with Standing Order 29(1) and 2. Further aware that the Standing Order 28(1) provides that the County Assembly may, by resolution, alter its sitting date specified in respect of a particular session, whereas Standing Order 28(3) provides the County Assembly shall continue to be in session calendar. Considering that the budget estimate has since been laid at the table of the House and stood committed to Sectoral Committee pursuant to Standing Order 210.3, further considering that the public participation is a constitutional requirement that has to be undertaken in the course of the budget-making process. Cognizant that the budget estimates for the financial year 2024-2025 are to be considered and passed not later than 30th June. Appreciating that the members of the County Assembly are to be part in budget-making process. Therefore, this House resolved to adjourn its sitting as from today, 28 May 2024, and resume on 11 June 2024, be discussed. Honorable Mosbey.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, I remember maybe the senior members may not agree, but when we came here about 1 year, 9 months ago, when such a motion came up, some of us would be busy asking questions on why are we adjourning, what are we going to do. Having come of age, this adjournment is quite necessary. It is indeed very necessary because our hands, as we speak, Mr. Speaker, are full. Going by the debate that we've just ended, Mr. Speaker, just as an illustration, we need some training, Mr. Speaker. We need further training. And I know there are the 2 members who joined us late. We should take an opportunity also during this time to go further training, hone our skills, know what a motion is, know or rather be reminded when to seek a statement, when to move a motion, and such kind, Mr. Speaker. So I support this motion that we adjourn, although for a short time, but there are so many activities that we need to do. We have to go back. You realize that majority of our members of the public, again, they at times wait for us, maybe to bring development, to take the development to them, while there is the very important exercise of public participation. So for this adjournment, or rather this motion to come, indeed I fully support, and from my earlier opening remarks, Mr. Speaker, you just judge the mood and put the question, we adjourn, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Mosby, but you have contributed, and I want to deny the members not to say, but maybe the members have had. Honorable Tarabe.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to support the motion. Mr. Speaker, budget making is very critical. And I want to urge that the honorable members that now this is a very critical budget where we involve issues of Ward Development Fund. We need to accord members serious time. I want to ask that members that we scrutinize this time on the budget seriously. Even for us to be effective as committee, Mr. Speaker, we need to meet and discuss at various committee levels. So to get that time, Mr. Speaker, we need to adjourn so that the members of various committees can scrutinize their departmental budget. So I support, Mr. Speaker, and I support.
Honorable Whip, then Honorable Korir.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Judging from the mood, I call upon Honorable Speaker to put a question, and I call Honorable Silas to...
Point of order, Honorable Speaker. He's a member in order to allude to what exactly is he doing? Honorable Speaker, could you guide this out?
Honorable member, I gave an opportunity to him to contribute, but he said that judging from the mood, and he wished to have a seconder, so that if the members are in agreement of the judging of the mood, I'll put the question so that we can see. If the seconder, Honorable.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. Honorable Speaker, also judging from the mood, I do second for this adjournment. Thank you,
Honorable members, judging from the mood of the House, you are requesting the Speaker to put the question. Yes. I now put the question from the judging of the mood. Will as many of the same opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many of the opinion say nay? Honorable members, that is honorable members, judging from the mood, I note about that one, Honorable Shango. Honorable members, I now put the question that aware that the county assembly is to be in session in accordance with the county assembly calendar approved according with the standing order 29.1 and 2. Further aware that the standing order 29.1 provides that the county assembly may by resolution alter its sitting dates specified in respect of a particular session, whereas standing order 28.3 provides that the county assembly shall continue to be in session and may adjourn for such number of days as it may determine its calendar. Considering that the budget estimate has since been laid at the table of the House and stood committed to sectoral committee pursuant to standing order 210.3. Further, considering that the public participation is a constitutional requirement that has to be undertaken in the course of budget making process. Cognizant that the budget estimate for the financial year 2024-2025 are to be considered and passed not later than 30th June 2024. Appreciating that the members of the county assembly are to take part in budget making process. Therefore, this House resolved to adjourn its sitting as from today, 28 May 2024, and resume on 11 June 2024. Will as many of a similar opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many of a contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Thank you, members. Therefore, this assembly stands adjourned from today, 28 May, and resume on 11 June 2024. Next order.
Order number 13, adjournment.
So, honorable members, being no any other business, this stands adjourned to that 11 June 2024. Thank you.